Welcome to the AFL Sydney Grand Final for 2009, Blacktown Olympic Park. East Coast Eagles versus the University of New South Wales Eastern Suburbs Bulldogs, and it should be an absolute classic. Let's head straight down to the ground for the national anthem. Fantastic rendition of our national anthem by the young choir. We'll endeavour to find out who they are because they did a terrific job.
From the Rudy Hills Public School, Brendan.
Yeah, it's a fantastic effort from them and congratulations on their day. East Coast Eagles versus University of New South Wales Eastern Suburbs Bulldogs. The top two teams to battle it out for the 2009 AFL Sydney Premiership. And to have a look at the East Coast Eagles team, it's a very good afternoon to Phil Bester.
Thanks, Brendan. Great to be here on Grand Final Day. And the Eagles, after winning their second semi-final, will be very keen to win their first Grand Final in Premier Division. They've never won one, but today they want their theme is one more Eagles. And the one change for the Eagles today, John Vlatko, the captain, big inclusion, and out is Mark Mendola. But the key players to look at, I think, big Gus Seebeck, who's kicked over 100, and Shane Ryan in the middle, big day from him, and also Ed Wilson, the Earl Shaw clash will be a big one.
Yes, Mendola unlucky. He did play in the reserves Grand Final, won by UTS. The Bulldogs have won the toss through David Coop. They'll kick to the right of screen. There is the Eagles slogan for this Grand Final, and a very good afternoon for the Bulldogs team, Dan Johnston.
Yes, thank you, Brendan. All depends which team turns up today for the Bulldogs. They've got talent all over the park. They started the final series in a tough way when they went down to Western Suburbs, but they've come back in powerful force since then. Talent all over the park. One of those players who's striving to break his Grand Final duck, or Premiership duck that be, Troy Luff. You've got talent in Lee Lavery up in the forward line, Kalupis the only in for the side, and Golden going out. Underwood, a powerful player who's come back in over the last week. So, look, this side, they're fantastic. Both sides are pretty evenly matched. But who are we going to get today, Brendan? That's the question.
I think we'll see the good one. And the Eagles will need to be on their game to get through. We've got Troy Luff looking for his first premiership at the age of 39 and 10 months. We just saw the field medalist Bryden Coles from Sydney University toss the coin. It should be an absolute beauty. I'm tipping the Eagles in a thriller, but it should be a game there that we don't know the result of right down to the wire. The umpires today, the same as the preliminary final. Number 2, Matt Gestier. Number 7, Frank Kalasic. Number 24, Damien Anderson. Best of luck to them. The emergency is number 4, Sean Richardson. Boundary, Luke McSpearin, Michael Saunders and Robert Taylor. Goals, Adam Gardner and Andrew Scoville. 6 months of footy come down to this. The Grand Final of 2009. Umpire Damien Anderson has the ball. Dan Johnston, take us away.
And here we go. Ready with Wilson and Shaw, two best ruckmen in the contest. We'll go at it all day. Bodies are plenty in there. Rutland at the bottom of the pack.
And Bowles in there nice and hard early. I think the umpires are going to stamp their authority on the game early.
Rutland comes away with it from Uni. He's got Underwood. Underwood sprays it into the forward line. Over the back, Luff! Luff gets the early touch for the Bulldogs in the forward line.
Ben Fizzick picking up Troy Luff, and he cannot afford to give him any room. He will hurt you.
It's a change in plans for the last few weeks. for the Bulldogs with Luff going forward. When the Bulldogs beat the Eagles in round 17, Luff was playing in the reserves. They wouldn't have thought about leaving him out for this one, would they?
Definitely not.
They're trying to stretch the Eagles for height. Bradfield also up forward, being picked up by Pearson.
So 15 for the year for Luffy, and that's the pocket that's difficult. Luff does it easily, and they're away, the Bulldogs.
Yes, a crucial start for the Bulldogs. Within the first minute of the game, they have kicked the goal, and it's through Troy Luff, the man who has made no secret of his desire to win a senior premiership and has said that he will keep playing until he wins one. He's 2 months away from his 40th birthday. He would love to get it now and just tick another box off on what's been an illustrious career.
Also looking to try and get a game in sometime with his son.
And Andre Peck picking up Gus Seebeck as well, which is the usual matchup.
Elshaw won it down. Kalupis maybe caught high. Play on, said the umpire. Underwood tries to feed the ball out. Does eventually to Robbie. Gets it on to Collett. The ball tried to trap it. Sankey, he missed it. Oh, terrific tackle on Sutton. Has been laid there by Bilkey, and he gets the free kick.
Had a very good semi-final Bilkey.
Yes, acting captain that day, returns to the vice-captain role today. Bilkey kicks long towards half-forward, flying from the back was Stanford. Hand pass over the top from Rutland, good work. Oh, what a tackle. Just got a hand pass in time before Garner wrapped him up. Ball came out towards the wing. Here's an opportunity for Kafalis, has to shrug one off, does so. Got it to Bradfield, hooked it on the boot, bouncing ball towards half-forward, and it goes over the line for a boundary throw-in right on the forward 50 for the Dogs.
And a big battle of the young guns, Woods and Spiteri on a wing.
Need to keep an eye on Maxi Collett. Injury last week, but he looks pretty good at the moment, moving freely.
I'm sure Bowles will be trying to run him around.
I reckon he would have...
Sam Rutland just all by himself at centre forward at the moment.
Dangerous position for him to be in because he can kick a goal.
Lucas unmarked as well as it comes out of the back through O'Regan. He gets the bounce but hits the post. So another point, 2.5 into the first quarter. 1 goal, 1-7 to the Bulldogs. East Coast yet to score.
They look good so far, the Bulldogs, as Burke goes long for the Eagles to win.
Great mark, Brad Ewer.
Terrific grab.
Outnumbered, had to do well, and he did.
Ewer ignores the first option and then kicks almost in the man of the mark.
One step.
He's turned it over. Rutland towards half-forward. Kafalis the target. Flying from the back was Marr. He recovers. Kicks around the corner. Out towards the wing. Oh, good work. Strong pick up by Sankey. Gives it to Vlatko. He kicks towards half-forward. Good work. And the mark taken by Biley.
And they need Biley to have another good day today. Kick straight.
Looks towards half-forward. And Dimmery takes it just inside the 50. Seebeck's one out. He decides to go in the other direction. And he set it up for Coop to thump it over the line away from Garner for a boundary throw-in.
Work from Coop there, getting back to spoil Garner. That'll be Seebeck in the ruck, up against Shaw. Just nullify each other. Collett with a chance. Sankey and Stanford in there. We'll have a ball up.
One of the things I've noticed in the early contested possessions, the stoppages, that the Eagles are all keen to get at the ball, and some of the Bulldogs are just staying back. So when it comes out, they've got numbers.
Always keen to get that early touch in a grand final, that's for sure.
Kalupis chips it away, trying to keep it in. Bradfield, oh, I thought that was out. And Bradfield gets a high tackle, and the free kick will come back to him.
Care of Ryan there, got a little bit too high.
Which side of the boundary line you reckon that football bounced?
Yeah, I reckon it was on our side, Brendan.
Bradfield chips towards half forward, Luff the target. Worked Physic out of the way. Wilson gets back, decides to kick backwards. Oh, Bilkey slipped over. This gives Abbott a chance. Can't really get a clear kick away. Good pressure by Burke. The Eagles work hard. Dimmery got a hand pass off. Oh, running straight through the lines there is UR. He's done well. He kicks just bumped off balance, if I can get the word out. Stanford turns around, chips towards half forward looking for Spiteri. It's just over his head. He's got Woods for company.
Well.
Turns him inside out.
He's kicked a goal, Spiteri.
Dan Spiteri, a fantastic kick, and the Eagles get their first. Fantastic piece of play by Dan Spiteri. Decided not to try and take the mark, ran onto the ball instead, turned Woods inside out and got the kick away as Sam Rutland closed in. It's 1-1 to a goal in favour of the Bulldogs.
Exciting young player from East Coast there, Philby.
He is, and he hasn't kicked a lot of goals this year, but didn't kick it in the semi, but he's off to a good start, and he kicked a few when they won earlier in the season.
Wilson wins that one down, but only to the advantage of Kalupis, but they managed to regather here. Robbie out in front for the Dogs. Handballs to himself. Gets a little help there from Beardsley. Now they go to the far side of the ground through Underwood.
One thing they did well last week with the Bulldogs was really push back into defence and flood the forward line.
Underwood to Sutton. Wilson just didn't judge that well. It gave Sutton a chance. Frank's over in the centre of the ground, but he's okay. Spins back around for Kafalis. Kafalis tries to pop one up, but he goes a little bit too far for Woods. Bilkey has some time here and a bit of room to move. Out in front of Bowles, but the ball just beats them both. Travels a little bit too far and will have a boundary throw-in.
And Brad Abbott kicked 7 against the Eagles when they beat them not that long ago, and he's been picked up by young Ben Burke today.
And the speed of this game is hot so far. Wilson won it down. Picked up by Sankey. Kick around the corner towards half forward. Biley. Oh, good effort. He wins the free kick for a hold against Jones.
I think the Beardsley-Ryan matchup will be crucial today.
Biley looks for Seebeck. Doesn't reach him. Couldn't pick it up. There to provide support. At the bottom of the pack is that Rogers or Spiteri. It's Garner, in fact, the old man down there. And the umpire says, give it to me. Point the difference in the early going in favour of the Bulldogs. We've just ticked into the 8th minute. Seebeck in the ruck, taps it towards the line, and Fitton gets worked over for a throw-in.
The Bulldogs have 4 premiership players playing today, so the 02-03 premiership players are Abbott, Coop, Andre Peck and Kafalis. So some experience there.
Seebeck and Shaw go at it. Almost gets a break there for Ryan. No free kick given. In front, Physic. Luff gets involved. Taps it forward, but only to the advantage of Vlatko. Vlatko decides to go a short one. Not the best of kicks. It sits up a little bit too high. The punch will come back, and the ball. Bradfield back to Underwood. Kalupis through the centre to Sutton. Sutton gets a good bump coming from Fitton. And they'll get away with it to the far side of the ground through Stanford.
Yes, he got it from Physic, did Luke Stanford.
Rogers started on the bench, is now on the ground.
Short pass, and the mark taken by Vlatko.
And he's by himself.
Benny Rogers sneaking forward. The kick goes in that direction. He's got Collett in his row. Too tall. Seebeck fumbles a couple of times. Fumbles a third time. Hand pass back looking for Bowles. Can't reach him. He got bumped off the ball by Andre Peck. He's still going Bowles. Hand pass out to Seebeck. Throws it on the boot. Into the man on the mark. Bulldogs can come away from defence, and that was Woods. Dropped by Sutton. Fitton did well. Still going Fitton. He's gone. Just dropped the ball. And the free kick will go to Henderson.
Henderson, far side of the ground. O'Regan inside 50. Bit of a shove there from Abbott. Comes through okay. Bottom of the pack, Kafalis back to Abbott. Good work from Wilson. He gets in there and spoils that. Handball back, turnover again. He's going to find Kafalis back to Abbott. Abbott will have a shot from about 48 metres out.
You've always got to be aware of Brad Abbott, don't you? He just peeled off the back of that contest to provide himself as an option.
The Eagles really should have cleared them. Just a bit of panic there. Just got a quick handball away.
So 67 goals so far this year for Brad Abbott. Been with the Bulldogs for a number of years as he looks to add their second goal on the board. That's not going to be good enough. Roll over the right side of the big post, through for a behind.
We've seen a number of Eagles slip over so far. Not many of them played at this ground, so they may not be used to the surface.
Blacktown getting plenty of it early, Brendan.
He is, and he gave this one to Burke, who marked in front of Rutland. Plays on, kicks into the man on the mark. Stanford can run onto this, picked it up, got a good hand pass over the top. Shaw arrived on Johnston, missed with the handball. Rutland across to Beardsley, back inboard to Sutton, kicks towards half forward. Will Nicholson back. Did he duck his head there a little bit? Gave a hand pass off, and it was chipped away by Pearson. Now put clear by the Eagles. It's a good kick. Blacktown to Johnston. Thought about coming into Garner and then changed his mind. Prefers to go around the boundary line towards half-forward Seabeck. Worked his man under the ball. Smythe left it behind. Seabeck picks it up. Little hand pass over the top. Robbie's in the front spot. Sends it back towards the wing. Johnston and Rutland. Boundary line wins. It's a throw in.
And Ryan Smythe playing his last game for the Eagles today, so he'll be very keen to try and get himself a premiership. He's played in 2 losing ones.
Nice shot there of the crowd. Beautiful conditions here as Vlatko gets it out, but Sutton, he's been everywhere early for the Bulldogs, smothers that one. Inside 50, could this sit up for Seabeck? It does, he gets it back on the right, not sure where that kick was going. Back to Biley, back to Seabeck with a bit of space if he can get the ball. It's going to find its way over the boundary line and beat Big Gus. Beautiful conditions out here, not a breath of breeze in the air.
Earlshaw doing the ruck all over the ground, so Seabeck helping out Ed Wilson by doing the forward line ruck work.
It's gone to the back where Coop tapped it down. Oh, Stanford tried to go through, but he has been wrapped up, and that was a cracker of a tackle by Sam Rutland.
A bit unlucky. I think if you grab the ball and get tackled and it comes out, it should just be play on.
Collett received, kick to the wing. Luff dropped the mark, but has time to recover. Wobbles the kick towards half-forward off the outside of the boot. Oh, Cathalis, great effort. Wants to play on, does so, puts it out in front of his target. And the mark has been taken on the chest for the Bulldogs by Mark O'Regan.
Very dangerous forward, O'Regan.
There's too much room there left for O'Regan.
And he's been across the ground so far. We see Rutland is actually limping off the ground after laying that tackle. Luff also coming for a spell. O'Regan from 35 kicks a great goal.
Beautiful kick.
Salutes the crowd who is kicking, and the Bulldogs go out by 8 points. And hello to everyone watching on www.digitalsports.com.au, including Wellington City Saints, who are online and loving it. They say, go the Eagles. They want Gus to kick a bag.
So red hot contest here early, Phil. Both teams getting well and truly involved. No love lost. They both know what's on the line. Sutton in amongst it again. Kalupas just continue to try and shovel it forward to the Bulldogs. Skews then gets the turnover through Vlatko. Another touch for Vlatko, and they've got Stanford in an absolute paddock. He takes a bounce, decides to kick to the hot spot. Seabeck flies, takes the mark.
Well done from Luke Stanford. He probably could have bounced all the way into inside 50 and kicked it, had a shot himself, but let Seabeck have a go, one out.
Just had to sit there, Seabeck, with the fly of the footy. Came in nicely, and this will be the one that the East Coast Eagles just want to get this settler in for Gus. Like getting him into scoring early.
Never a certainty early, Seabeck, but Blatko coming for a well-earned rest.
Yes, he's been very good early, hasn't he, John Blatko, coming back from injury.
Coach Garner as well, playing coach for the East Coast Eagles. So Gus Seabeck looks for first for the day.
He likes it.
The double fist pump is there, and Seabeck gets his first.
Crucial goal that for the Eagles. Gus Seabeck needs to get the first one on the board just for his confidence, and kicking that first one really gives them something to go on with. We're ticking towards 15 minutes in this first quarter. The Bulldogs leading 2-2 to 2 straight goals.
East Coast interchange. Glenn Garner, you would have seen, just in shot.
Luke Stanford now in the middle. He's been quite dangerous across the forward line.
Wilson won the tap. Going back for a second go was UR. Sutton back-heeled it. Stanford bounced off his teammate, kicked to half-forward Biley in the front spot.
His target at the moment, Biley.
Should have kicked it to Dimmery's advantage.
Dimmery had a couple of metres. The kick heads towards Seabeck. Robbie got a fist in. Smythe wrapped up very quickly.
semi, both Seabeck and Rogers kicked 4 each, so they'll both need to have a good day for the Eagles to finally win their premiership.
And Seabeck looks a bit more relaxed without the pressure of trying to get his numbers today, doesn't he? He got that 2 weeks ago. Robbie got the hand pass away, kicked clear by Peck, but only as far as Stanford. He goes short and finds Johnston. Dimmery provided the lead, was ignored. Seabeck's got 4 or 5 players standing in front of him. Dimmery's second lead is on him. He chips it short, and did he take the mark? No.
Would have been a free kick more times than not.
Goes again. Dimmery's there too. Can he keep it in? Dimmery kicks for goal. It's would have been a miracle. Hit the post. A great effort from Jack Dimmery.
The Bulldogs, they're getting plenty of numbers back in. Oh, just missed there. Sankey could have made the most of that one. Smythe can't get a hold of it. Could have been in the back. No, says the umpire. That one could have been high. And it is.
And Physic threw the head back there to make sure of it.
Physic will have a chance. Not that often that he ends up in this position.
Guys, 5 metres inside.
He can kick a goal. He doesn't know how to kick him. He can remember kick it.
10 this year so far.
He's played mostly in the back line all year, but can kick a goal.
As we've seen him kick some important set shots throughout this season, Ben Physic sneaking forward.
And Physic will kick from 40 out. Not much of an angle.
He likes
That's
it.
looking good. East Coast Eagles get another and they hit the lead.
Ben Physic played at the Eagles for a lot of years now and wants nothing more than to finally win a grand final for his beloved Eagles.
Heads back to the defensive 50 to resume his defensive post down there on Lee Lavery.
It's something that the Bulldogs did very well. They really flooded that back line last week against Western Suburbs. There are a lot of stoppages. This game's a lot more free-flowing at the moment. And you've just got to wonder, very hot last week. 4 quarters of football could be difficult.
And it's warm again today at Blacktown Olympic Park. So we will find out what last week has taken out of the Bulldogs, if anything, or whether the run around in the sun helped them as Vlatko came out of the centre, kicked inside 50. Seabeck
again!
The Eagles crowd like the look of that as Gus Seabeck marks 20 metres out. Negligible angle.
And Vlatko has been brilliant so far, really. It'll be interesting to see how it goes because he's been out with a hamstring for a month. Got some very unique treatment. Got some blood inserted from one part of the body into his hamstring.
It's an injury down at Wollongong in round 18. Missed the second semi-final. It's the only game he's missed with the couple of weeks off that East Coast have had in the finals. Seabeck for goal number 2 has sprayed it. And there's the early bad one that we come to expect from Big Gus.
We saw the leading goal kicker in Division 1 kick 8, so I'm sure Seabeck will be pretty keen to do the same.
If he kicks 8, East Coast win.
Maxi Collar with that big boot. That's a great grab there by Coop. Just over the top of Johnston. Coop plays on. He goes straight down the line. Bilkey in front, brings it to ground. Sutton, Bilkey tackles. Gets rid of it though. Pearson at the bottom of the pack. He gets up, he gets it forward, and he has Johnston. Smythe there to recover. The high has come. Johnston's played on. Looks for Smythe. He gets it back. He's going to have to look long to the target of not Seabeck, but there's a man lurking in Spiteri.
Just saw that out of the corner of his eye, Smythe. For all intents and purposes, he was heading to the goal square for Seabeck. Spotted Spiteri just as he was about to drop the ball onto his boot and hooked it back. A masterful kick by Ryan Smythe.
And I think I'd prefer Spiteri on the run. It'd be almost a certain year. A set shot, not so much.
He's given himself enough of a run-up to be on the run.
He's kicked the one already. Looking for number 2. That's coming back. Straight through the centre. Beautiful kick from Spiteri, and that's the 4th for the Eagles.
And he's got 2 now, Spiteri, so he was in great form in the semi-final early on in the game, and he's continued that today. So someone who's been quiet for the Eagles boys, who's been a really good player in the finals, Mark Skews. Haven't seen much of him. He's on the bench at the moment, but good crowd here at Blacktown Olympic Park. So far, they're seeing a really red-hot contest. Troy Luff comes back onto the ground.
A nice, open, free-flowing game at the moment. Plenty of contested football.
And Andre Peck coming off. And Bradfield's now gone back onto Seabeck.
I think that's exactly the way East Coast wants it. Wide open. There's the hand pass from Blacktown to Stanford towards half forward. Garner couldn't take the mark. Recovered. Kicks to the goal square. Gus tried to mark it. Couldn't do so. Time to recover. Tumbles it towards the line. It goes all the way across. Play on. Joel Robbie got a good hand pass away. Clearing kick from Beardsley was terrific out to the wing. From Woods was dragged down.
Poor decision by Damien Bowles. Should have just let that go.
Downfield free kick to Lavery.
He's got to control himself today, Bowles.
He plays on, goes towards half forward. Abbott slips over at the crucial stage. Burke tripped over him. Abbott recovered to Wilson. Now to Vlatko through Pearson. No one to kick it to. He drew the man and then chipped it over the top. Bowles stole it off Dimmery. Turns back inside, kicks towards the wing. Garner goes to ground between two Bulldogs. Dimmery dives into the contest. Pollock's there as well. Great work by Spiteri, but not a good kick by Bowles. It's out on the full. And the free kick will come back to the Bulldogs right in front of the Eagles bench.
The Seabeck shot on goal before, boys. I don't think he would have practiced that too many times at training, that little dribble on the ground.
Yes, no, not the way Gus tends to get his goals, roving around the backs, that's for sure. Takes a while for the big fella to get down the ground level.
Sam Rutland with the free kick.
So Rutland just decides to go straight across the ground. Finds Henderson. Henderson through the centre. There's a bit of activity in there already. Underwood with the tap. Comes back to Pearson. Seabeck's got a little bit of room to move. Bradfield's on him now. Tries to get. He's got the kick away. It's not going to bounce fast enough. But Johnston, can he get the toe on it? No, he doesn't.
Yes, he did.
Did he?
I think he did, but Stephen Peck's hands were there as well.
I didn't think he got the first touch. I thought it was Ward that was getting through there as well.
All brought back into play quickly by Henderson. Luff, tapped on by O'Regan. Solid bump he received. Moved on by Ward.
Lavery's first touch.
Lavery. Did have a kick on this side of the ground, Dan.
Did he?
Downfield free kick. First one he's earned though, as Peck gave it across to Luff. Kick inside 50. Abbott couldn't quite take the mark. Goes again, Brad Abbott gives the hand pass back to Andre Peck to Luff. Little fumble, just stopped the momentum. Kick up and under, goes out wide and finds Kafalis. He chips it short, it's too short for Underwood. Falls to Pearson, sends the kick back out towards the wing. Smythe, under pressure from Robbie, got around one. Rutland arrived, handball over the top was good. Got to himself. Smythe, the look away handball this time to Garner. Goes through two defenders, kicks inside 50. A great kick to Seabeck. He had two to beat. Spiteri arrives. Bit of how do you do going on. It comes back to Gus. Snap around the corner.
Bowles.
Who's can run onto this? It's Bowles. Oh, he didn't get the bounce. Joel Robbie caught without the ball. Bowles still going. Did he get a trip on Collett? No, said the umpire. Kalupa's hand pass up to Luff and the Bulldogs get away.
Luff forward, he looks for Abbott. There's not many targets there for the Bulldogs. Ward comes through, gets tackled well by Physic. It's underneath the pack now. They can't get it out, and umpire Kalazic.
Red hot, boys, red hot.
Great tempo of football at the moment. Very exciting. Very hot, as you can see, with the ice packs on the Bulldogs bench as the kick comes out of the centre. Just coughed up there, should have been taken by Ewer. Gets away with it. Man slips over there in Vlatko as a target out in front of Physic. Also Sankey, but it finds its way over the boundary line. We'll have a boundary throw in.
Andre Peck now deep in the forward line, being picked up by Pearson.
4-3-27 to 2-2-14. 13 points the margin to the Eagles. We're 24 and a half minutes into the first quarter.
Quick kick away from Sutton, bounces towards half forward Lavery. And wall up, good running. This is Woods. He runs inside 50, goes for home. And it bounced off the chest of Andre Peck in the goal square.
They played on quickly there, the Eagles. Try to get it forward using the same side of the ground again. And there's a strong mark over Johnston taken by Luff as the quarter-time siren sounds. To see the East Coast Eagles leading after getting a little bit of pressure early on. 4 goals, 3-27. University of New South Wales Eastern Suburbs Bulldogs 2-3-15. 12 points the margin.
The East Coast Eagles 4 goals, 3-27. Uni New South Wales Eastern Suburbs 2-3-15. As we prepare for the second quarter, umpire Frank Kalazic has the ball. He's officiating today with Matt Gestier and Damien Anderson.
Well, Coach Glenn Garner of the Eagles said if you win 4 quarters, you win the game. Well, they've won 1. Can they win 3 more?
We're underway in the second quarter. 1 down by Wilson. Going through Ryan in that 74 as we said at quarter time. Vlatko kicks it up and under towards half forward. Biley had it knocked down. Trying to get through there was an Eagle. Fitton can't get there. Now it's picked up by Spiteri, off to Rogers. Hooks it back on the left boot. Seabeck just over his head. Has to turn and chase. Getting worked out of it by Bradfield, who goes off the ground. Seabeck still going, but the boundary line wins. And it's a boundary throw-in.
I think possibly we're a little bit higher above sea level here than anywhere else, because I noticed in the early game sometimes the ball carries a bit longer than the players think. Same again there with Seabeck. Thought he had the mark.
So Seabeck will go into the ruck with Shaw. He's got a tough job. He's doing it all himself at the moment. Wilson just that kick behind play. Filling in the hole. As Kafalis asked the question, who's picking him up?
This is the AFL Sydney 2009 Grand Final. Eagles and Bulldogs.
There's a bit of holding, a bit of cuddling going there.
Yes, and Gus has got the free kick. Earl Shaw is incredulous. But Gus is going to line up from 45 metres out. And a chance to kick his second.
And his 103rd goal for the year. For the East Coast Eagles big man.
Going to take a big kick. We've got a perfect view behind this one from the commentary box. Well, I think he got the first one. He missed the second one. The kick's on its way.
He's got it.
Great kick. He punches the air and Seabeck's got his second. The Eagles go out by 18 points.
Well, that's why the East Coast Eagles, they need a big Gus Seabeck firing up forward, confident in his kicking. Makes a massive amount of difference.
And Big Gus is another one who just may retire if they were to happen to win a premiership. So
just into his 30s, Gus.
Yes, he does look a lot older, but
you can say that. I'm not.
The 1999 Sandover medalist. I think that's a long time ago.
It was his birthday yesterday, actually.
Happy birthday to Big Gus. He'll be wanting a present today, I'd say.
Quick kick from Underwood was smothered. Going again, it was Kalupas who threw the hand pass up in the air. Fit and clever to Vlatko. Hooks it around the corner. Bowles can run onto the football. Luff's there. Bowles tapped it past him. Clever. Plays on quickly. Gets a little hand pass inboard. Luff recovered well. Spiteri over the top to Ryan. As we said, Ryan's wearing number 74. Must have been some blood or a rip jumper in the first quarter. The kick. Seabeck's in front!
Well, the Bulldogs have got all sorts of problems on that matchup now.
He's on to his second opponent. He saw off Andre Peck in the first quarter. He's got Bradfield now and he's lining up for his third goal.
Unlucky there for Bradfield. Last time he played from in front, it went over his head. This time he plays him from behind. It ends up pulling up in front of him. So tough contest. But
I thought the Bulldogs coaching staff might have gone a bit early on Andre Peck. He's been in good form.
Gus Seabeck for goal number 3. Yes. Seabeck has 3. The Eagles have 6, and it's a 4-goal ball game.
Yeah, you sort of got to wonder sometimes if you get on a roll, the full forwards, they just don't stop. But you've got people like Coop who can go back and can show a little bit more pace. He's still got a fair bit of body presence, but obviously Bradfield would be equal in size and weight. Coop will give away a little bit of weight, but certainly would have the speed.
I guess the Eagles midfield are using the ball a lot better than what we saw from Western Suburbs last week, so it's a bit harder to push back and get in front of Gus.
Looked like Coop was going down there to double team, but Glenn Garner's hiding down there as well. And that would have to be an important tactic of East Coast, that if the Bulldogs do decide to try and put a second one on Gus Seebeck, the Eagles have to make sure a player goes with him to make him accountable.
Beasley goes back to Kalupis. He's going to sit up for Robbie here. Robbie gets caught by Ryan.
And Ryan got involved in the last two clearances.
It's a quiet first quarter for Shane Ryan, but so far, so good in the second quarter.
Only the one up there for the Bulldogs in the contest. It's being Shaw. Ryan gets a touch. Pinched by Kalupis, but Frank's going to ball it up for us again.
I said Mark Skews has been quiet, but he's actually playing on Ryan Underwood, and Ryan Underwood hasn't done anything, so I guess you'd
a couple of touches so
be happy with that, because he can be a match winner, Underwood.
Kalupis in and under, gets caught high. So Ryan's just giving that one away. They're a little bit tangled, the two fellas.
And he's holding on to him. Former teammates.
Trying to milk a 50 there. He's Loopy.
Kalupis goes to the near side of the ground through Rutland. Rutland with a little chip to Luff. Luff plays on, back to Rutland.
Rutland runs through the centre wing position, kicks towards half forward. Lavery couldn't take the mark. Dimmery at the base of the pack, diving in with courage there.
Ryan did well.
Was an Eagles player in physic. Ryan it was who got it out to Vlatko. Rogers can run. If he gets past Henderson, there's a goal on here. He doesn't get past him. Luckily, a handball away, but Henderson won that contest hands down. Ben Woods back to the wing. Ball knocked to ground. Good work. Hand pass up from Spiteri. O'Regan lost the football. Skews. Kicks towards half forward. Bouncing ball here. It's Dimmery up against Coop. And it's worked towards the line. Coop with experience wins the contest. Got it across to Beardsley. He chips it up towards half forward. Lavery backing into the pack. Wilson flying in from the side. Neither of them could mark. Skews with a little hand pass. Good work, East Coast. Ma brought it down towards half forward, and Dimmery took the mark.
And the youngster, Dimmery, not having a bad game again. He did very well in the semi-final.
A very good debut year for Jack Dimmery.
There was Spiteri. Spiteri looks
Rogers.
For a lead. Rogers is there. Tell you what, I watched Rogers warm up, and he did not miss many in the warm-up, so I've probably put the mocker on him now.
He probably has
kicking
more
from 50. He hit a top. He's going to play back in to Bowles here.
Rogers would probably have more practice shots at goal and training than any player that
as a good forward should.
He's a forward pocket after all, isn't he?
Bowles just decides to bury it long. Not much of a contest. Shaw was the only one that looked likely. Comes back to the front to Biley.
Bounce.
Big Gus just pushes his man out on the
Seebeck!
road, and he gets another.
4 to Seebeck.
Seebeck with his fourth, and the East Coast Eagles out to a 30-point lead.
So I mentioned about the leading foot forwards in Division 1, and so far Seebeck's doing a Chadwick as well.
It's a dangerous start for the Bulldogs. The Eagles have raced away now to a 30-point lead. Gus Seebeck has kicked 4 goals.
It's not often you see the big bull Bradfield getting manhandled like that around the ground.
There's Gus well and truly switched on for this one, having played in 2 losing grand finals for East Coast.
Blacktown.
And away he goes. Blacktown over to Smythe. Runs to 50. Kicks it into the man on the mark. Spiteri does the roving. He kicks it into the man on the mark. Ward was caught. Came back to Coop. Hand pass over the top. Back to Ward. They did that beautifully, the Bulldogs. Great stuff. Beardsley towards half forward. A big fly from Physic made the spoil. Sutton is front and centre. Kicks into the pocket looking for Abbott. Burke got the spoil. Hand pass over the top with support. Ma taps it back. Bilkey arrives. Abbott won the football. Well, the Dogs eating Reagan. Oh, great work. Still with the Bulldogs, however. Kalupis back to Beardsley in towards the pocket. O'Regan couldn't take the mark. Bilkey fumbled. Has to go again. Threw it out the back. Ma with a chance. Runs it over the line for a throw in.
Good work from Ben Burke there on a much more experienced opponent. Ben Burke probably would have been in nappies when Brad Abbott started playing.
Yes, very true. Abbott been running around in this competition for a while and kicked his fair share of goals as Sutton bangs it forward. free kick paid against Abbott, I think.
Yeah, it's a push in the back.
So the push coming, so Burke gets another one up on his direct opponent in Abbott. Just trying to find a target and decides to go straight up the boundary line. Big pack of players form. It was Shaw at the front. Ball hits the deck. It's been trapped in there. Beardsley at the bottom of it. And there you go. Holding the ball.
Mike Beardsley doesn't agree.
Was far from impressed with that decision, but that ain't going to change it. But they'll continue. Garner. A fair bit of strapping on him today, and that is going to hurt.
And
Sutton has been caught.
How is that not a free kick? Right in front of the umpire.
Not impressed with that one. Pearson gets one high. Kalupas with the football now through Joel Robbie. He just goes to the check side to the 50. The punch from behind from Bilkey. Ward plays through, picks up a chance. Sutton can't quite control it. It bounces left and right. Bottom of the pack now. Been pulled in, dragged in. Umpire's up on that one.
The Eagles did well then. They were down a defender because Pearson was down.
It was interesting there. Brett Bedwell got reported and sent off the ground for exactly the same thing last week by the same umpires. As we see the ball be brought away by Stanford by hand. Rutland. Underwood. Did he have the ball? Play on was a call. Did it well. Shrugged a couple of tackles. Now he's in trouble. Had time. Enough time.
Downfield.
Oh, he got dealt with. Had already shifted the eyes.
I don't think there was much in it.
Seebeck's got the free kick. You can line up with number 5.
Frustration for the Bulldogs.
Ryan Underwood and Matt Gestier involved in that conversation.
They'll keep it under control.
Gus Seebeck can kick his 5th goal in the 12th minute of the second quarter.
John Blatko coming for a rest. He not have anything left in the tank at the end of this game. He's not going to stop all day.
Gus Seebeck from 35 metres. It's on its way.
He's got it.
He has kicked the goal.
5 to big Gus Seebeck.
And the Eagles are looking good at Blacktown Olympic Park in the grand final. It's a 36-point ball game.
Well, what can the Bulldogs do at the moment? They're being beaten all around the ground. They wouldn't say that they're winning in any area of the ground.
No, they're well and truly being dominated for the second half of that first quarter, and they're certainly controlling the match at this point in time, and they've been doing that for the last 12 minutes. Really struggling at the moment, the Bulldogs, to keep in this contest and to keep control of Seebeck in front of goal.
One thing they have got is players who can kick goals.
Dogs kicked 2 of the first 3 goals. They haven't added since, as Rutland chips towards half forward, and there's a holding decision going in favour of Luff. Right on the forward 50. He goes for Abbott, who's got a metre. And
good mark.
the footy.
All class.
Well, I thought the kick wasn't that advantageous for him. He had to stop and prop, but he just stuck the big rear out, and there was no way Ben Burke was getting in front of him.
He's got the stickiest set of mitts in Sydney AFL.
Just put the big mitt up and now it's stuck.
The amount that stick in his hand that are a bit freaky like that, there's too many to count.
I thought there could have been a shootout. Abbott has kicked his first now. Gus has got 5 at the other end, but a much-needed goal for the Bulldogs. Brad Abbott's on the scoreboard.
Yes, they really needed that just to stem the tide. Just get one back there, the Bulldogs, and go in with a little bit of confidence.
The Bulldog supporters very happy with that goal, no doubt. They'll be wanting another one.
Good crowd here today at Blacktown Olympic Park, home of the Sydney AFL.
A fantastic new home, isn't it?
Fantastic facility, ground in great condition, and a beautiful day for football.
And a useful crowd here too for the grand final. As the ball is put inside 50, and Biley takes the mark. Is that 50? It's not 50, says
I've seen Frank give those on 9 times out of 10.
He thought about it.
He wants to see the game here, I think.
Aaron Biley took the mark.
Well, this is important for Biley. He'd been quiet all year. He kicked 1 goal, 6 in the semi-final. So he needs to put the kicking boots on.
18 goals so far.
Gus tells him to aim slightly left of centre. He does.
And he's got it.
The goal.
Another good one.
Bailey gets his first and the Eagles have the reply.
I'll tell you what, we've spoken about that being one of the more difficult pockets. I don't think it's been missed over there in this game yet.
I guess today, though, we probably haven't. There was no breeze here today, where I think all the games we've seen there've been a breeze. Big breeze coming out of the fan that the Eagles have got on their bench down there.
A cooling fan, bit of vapour coming out of that one.
Those coaches there, Rodney Frost with the board, obviously working hard, needs the fan there.
And umpire Guestier just lets us know what he thinks of that bounce as he calls it back. 9-3-57 East Coast Eagles, 3-3-21 Bulldogs. As the hand pass releases Pollitt, kicks towards half forward, bouncing ball. Heffernan looking for a free kick and possibly could have got one, but Skews wins the footy.
Then he's given one to Marr.
Marr and Heffernan a disagreement. Marr charges in and lays the tackle on O'Regan.
This could happen here.
And now Marr's given away the free kick.
He probably should have got a free kick earlier because he did get one high, but it was a bit silly from Marr.
Yeah, Heffernan just came in. He knew he had him on ready to do something or another, and just came in that contest and just knocked the man off the ball when it was already well and over. So Marr remonstrated, of course, in the free kick.
Skews was a bit slow to get up in the bottom of the pack. Heffernan has the ground grabbing him. It's on target. Has it got the legs?
I think it has.
It's a goal. Heffernan's put it through. He thumps the air. And the margin is back to 5 goals.
Well, that could be a team lifter, boy. That could just be what they need to get them back into this contest. Just a little bit of spite in that one, but they get the victory, the Bulldogs.
Miller came to the bench and had a quick word to Glenn Garner and then headed back to his post. So we've seen 5 goals straight kicked by the Eagles in this quarter, 2 goals straight by the Bulldogs. A good display of kicking for goal. Umpire Damien Anderson bounces the footy sideways.
Same again.
He is pretty good, Damien Anderson. He's the best bouncer on the footy, I believe, in the AFL Sydney. That one, of course, not a good one. Yes.
And Wilson. He's not happy with the attention from Bailey. Shakes him free. Stanford tries to apply the tackle. A little bit of a push there comes from Marr on Kafalis.
It's just a couple of undisciplined things there from Mark Marr. He might need to spend some time on the bench, I think.
So Kafalis will come back and have a shot on goal. It's been a little bit quieter. Got some number of touches in the first quarter. A little bit quieter in the second. Looking to get his first score on the board. 16 goals in the season so far. He's pushed that one to the right, only good enough for a behind.
And Peter Kafalis back in 02-03 was the only local Suburbs boy to play in that side, but this year they've got about half a dozen players who are local boys.
The 9-3-57 East Coast Eagles, 4-4-28, 29 points the margin. We're almost 18 minutes through the second term of the 2009 Grand Final.
Set the task, Phil. How would that compare to the East Coast team today?
Yeah, it's a good question, Brendan. Thanks. I'll get back to you on that one.
As the kick comes back into play, ball knocked to ground. Fitton got a hand pass away. Shaw stole it. Beardsley. His kick was smothered by Ryan. Picked up by Spiteri. Across to Stanford. Has to run. Little chip across the centre of the ground. Got in a good position there, Bowles. Plays on quickly. Goes towards half forward. It's in the hands of Marr. Kicks beautifully to Rogers. And Mark Marr makes up for one of his errors at the other end.
I'll say 8, Brendan. So they've got him outnumbered. And that's just a quick guess. I think about 8. So that's not a bad effort.
It was quite close between the two teams as Blacktown comes back on the ground for Stanford. As Ben Rogers lines up for his first goal. The kick's on it.
He likes it. Benny Rogers.
The goal umpire does not move. And the margin goes back out to 35.
Well, I did say, boys, Benny Rogers, I was watching that warm-up. He could not miss. He looks like he's brought that into the game. He was kicking him from 50.
We saw Mark Marr give him a big hug. Then he's run all the way from the back line to say thank you. I needed someone to kick a goal for me.
And so it was Mark Marr that put it on Rogers' chest too. So
delivered it nicely.
So he just gets one back there. 10-3, 63 East Coast Eagles. 4 goals, 4-28. Uni New South Wales Eastern Suburbs Bulldogs. 35-point margin.
Shaw and Wilson through the centre. Beardsley, it was very nicely done. 2-on-1 situation there. Abbott just takes Bilkey down. They'll come back a free kick for the vice-captain of the Eagles. Bilkey decides to play onto the far side of the ground. He's got Wilson in space. Got Skews just running on. He's going to take Bowles. Ball just doesn't sit up for him now. Gets a little bit of attention from Underwood. Underwood manages to pinch it, and the Bulldogs are away here through Sutton. They've got Abbott on the lead. It's a 2-on-1 situation. Eagles just need to talk. Pearson, steady head, and he's got Marr here on the near side, and we've got some space.
Marr brings it out to the wing to Spiteri. Rogers, in fact, I apologise. The kick goes towards the wing. Dimmery went with one hand when two were needed. Rutland chips it over the top. Henderson protected the ball well. Rogers has to come back. He does. Henderson, defensive side of the wing. Called the play on. And he kicks around the boundary line and gives it straight to Ben Physic. And there was just no options provided for him by the Bulldogs forwards.
Still mate.
Bilkey to Sankey. He can go further to Burke. It's not the best of kicks. Underwood got there, made the spoil. Burke and Underwood contesting. Neither of them want to pick up the ball. Here's Sankey. Gets away, kicks out towards the wing. It's good work.
Good follow-up from Sankey after his poor kick.
Good work from Burke there, just to nullify that one-on-one.
Plays like a player of a lot older, Ben Burke.
Bowles long to half forward. Seabeck is a chance.
Smythe
front and centre.
Can he kick the goal?
Puts it on, has a bounce, runs inside the 50 and kicks it out of bounds on the full.
Absolute shocker from Ryan Smythe.
And an anti-climax for the ages.
That's what you wait for all day, but anti-climax there.
Saw him kick a brilliant goal in the 2006 grand final. But probably thought the Eagles were going to get over the line in the last quarter, but they didn't. So I'm sure he would have liked to kick that one.
Stephen Peck there finds Bradfield. Has a bit of a bounce in space. Chips it up there. Gets his man who plays on. That might have been O'Regan. Good mark from Kefalis. So Kefalis just looks to chop up here for Abbott. Does nicely.
Very good lead from Abbott. He had also Bilkey in front of him, but managed to get around him.
Having to lead to the pockets, though, which doesn't make it easily in the ensuing kick.
He can kick him from there, though, but he doesn't look confident.
He's looking to try and pass that off. East Coast have got back and got numbers to fill the space. So he's going to have to kick, and to the square, I would say. Abbott's approach, it's just sit to the front. They're going to try and get that through, which it does, so rush behind.
As Mark skews very quickly there to thump it through.
Blacko plays downfield to Sankey. Sankey's got a man in Ryan. He's got Dimmery with some room. He's gone a little bit too late, Ryan. It's been a bad bounce because the handball didn't make it, and the Bulldogs through Kalupis will come away with it.
He goes over the top to Sutton, who fumbles. Spent it before he had it, and then probably gave away a free kick.
Blacko should have got a free kick.
He does, from Frank Kalazic off the ball.
He doesn't know what's going on Blacko at the moment. He looks a bit sore.
Blood rule for Blacko was standing the mark, and Sutton gets blood rule. Yeah, blood on the face.
Actually, Collett there, he's a little bit confused.
Was the right decision. I was watching that. It was a good decision from Frankie in the other end of the ground.
Blacko goes short to Ryan, who tries to milk a 50.
He's got Marr on the other wing. You can't see him.
Needs to move Marr before he can get seen. As
You can run.
he can go all the way. He goes to 50.
Oh,
sets
set
sail,
sail!
and Brad Ewer kicks
Great
the
goal! Bradley Ewer!
Eagles lead by 40.
Sensational effort from Brad Ewer. Celebrations from the teammates.
And known as the angry young man, that would make him fairly happy, I'd imagine.
40 points the lead for the East Coast Eagles. They've kicked 7 goals to 2 in this second quarter, and they've put the onus right back on the New South Wales Eastern Suburbs Bulldogs.
Sutton just getting some work there on that cut to the right eye.
And Brad Ewer runs back to Jason Kalupas, who's playing in the forward line.
Eagles supporters there with smiles on their faces at the moment. There's a long way to go in this game.
And Maxi Collett, they got the break, but it's coming back for incorrect disposal. So with Fitton, they come away through Vlatko again. Seebeck out on the lead with Bradfield. It misses them both, and this should eventually find its way over the boundary line.
Yeah, Seebeck's been a bit quiet for the last 10 minutes or so.
Continue to chip away and increase this lead.
Big performer though, Gus, with 4 goals in the second quarter, 5 for the game.
7 goals straight, the East Coast Eagles, as the Bulldogs come away, and Lavery just juggles that one over the boundary line.
Woods kicked it and then turned away. He thought he'd put it out on the full. Lavery did well to get there. Didn't take the mark, but ensured it wasn't going to be an Eagles ball. Boundary throw in right on the Bulldogs logo. Stephen Peck won it down to Beardsley to Robbie. He goes in towards the centre of the ground. Knocked away by UR again. Woods over the top to Kalupas. A fumble. Has time. The man's peeled off on his own on the outer side. The Bulldogs can run. The kick goes inside 50. Underwood's the target. Oh, yes!
Good mark.
Great mark.
Just a one-hander, plucked it out of the air, Ryan Underwood. And he can go back and kick what would be his first goal. He's been quiet in the first half, well held.
He has the ability to kick multiple goals quickly, Ryan Underwood, too.
A vital kick, 26 minutes into the second quarter. Underwood delivers. He kicks the goal, and the Bulldogs bring it back inside 6 majors.
They need to try and get maybe 1-2 more if they can. We're 26 and a half. There's been plenty of goals kicked in this quarter. 8 so far.
It's 34 points. If they can sneak another one before half-time, they'd be not happy, but at least something to work with.
I'll try that again. Put the calculator out. We'll try for 10 goals so far this quarter. So it should be a long one. They'd love to get another couple just to narrow that margin a bit. Go into half-time with a bit of momentum.
There's 7 plus 3 equals 10. The Eagles by 34 points as the umpire calls for it back. 11 goals, 3, 69. Great kicking from East Coast, 5-5-35. The Dogs, as Stephen Peck probably got his hand on that. No real advantage. Coops wrapped up. Fitton somehow gets the ball out of there. Taken by Ward, back to Beardsley. He kicks up in the air. Ball knocked down. Stanford over to Vlatko. Further back to Physic. Chips it poorly out to the wing. Bilkey can run onto it. Bowles, in fact, thumps it forward. And it's over the line for a boundary throw-in. 27 minutes, nearly 28 have gone by in this second quarter. I'm getting ahead of myself. Stephen Peck won it down. Robbie fumbled. Smythe hacks it out of the contest. Biley with 2 to beat. Henderson got it to ground. Sent the kick back from where it came. Beardsley got dumped after he kicked it. I think he actually accentuated the contact a bit, Mike Beardsley.
Stanford, I think, the man.
But it was, however soft the contact was, it was unnecessary. And it's Heffernan now, who brings it short and finds Woods.
Usually a good kick, Woods.
Woods, he's got a target there in Underwood. Underwood can't quite get that grab. Dimmery does well for East Coast. Sutton there needs to attack it, and he gets taken by Marr.
Ducked his head.
Did duck his head. Unlucky there for East Coast. The ball's with Sutton at the moment for the Bulldogs.
Crucial, almost half time.
So Sutton delivers it in forward. He's looking for Abbott. Wilson's in front. It carries them both. Little knock there coming from Burke, and that'll be Bilkey that'll come away. He's found Bowles.
Got Johnson.
Got Johnston in space on the far wing. Johnston can't handle that. That allows Beardsley to get involved. She's going to sit up okay here, Stanford. Just manages to peg it forward. But now the turnover comes. Collett, he spins, and that's a poor kick. They're going to get away with it though anyway, and they get it through. Underwood's going to play on. He needs his right boot, and he's got it high there from Garner. As he was falling, unlucky for the East Coast Eagles coach.
He's definitely unlucky, Glenn Garner, but free kick definitely there.
All sorts of trouble there, Underwood, no left foot, and I think Garner knew that was coming. You could see he didn't want to continue down that path that he'd set himself.
Could be a crucial kick on half-time.
However, the shot on goal has come because Johnston dropped that chest mark on the outer side of the ground.
Yep, they were away.
And Ryan Underwood can make him pay.
Underwood looking to get a goal on the board, which he won't. He's pulled that to the left.
Just trying too hard for distance, which he probably didn't need to do. I think he could have made it quite easily.
One goal, one.
We'll bring the ball back into play.
Skew's come off the bench, but it's just sitting there just in case it comes out this way.
No one's picked him up yet.
Woods knows where he is, but it does come in this direction. It doesn't matter. The siren has sounded for half-time, and a terrific quarter by the East Coast Eagles. They went into it with a 12-point lead, and they kicked 7 goals to 3 for the term, including 4 early ones to Gus Seebeck. And the Eagles lead by 34 points. 33 points, in fact, at half-time. The East Coast Eagles are 11 goals 3, 69, leading the University of New South Wales Eastern Suburbs Bulldogs 5-6, 36. East Coast Eagles heading into the third quarter of the 2009 AFL Sydney Grand Final. They lead by 33 points over the University of New South Wales Eastern Suburbs Bulldogs. The big question is, can they continue, or will the Bulldogs and Troy Luff make a charge home in the second half? We are just about ready to get underway. Dan Johnston, take us away.
Wilson and Shaw. Wilson wins that one without a contest. Colin in amongst it, could have been held high.
And Andre Peck has gone back to Gus Seebeck. Bradfield back to centre half forward on Pearson, so they've gone back with their original thinking, the Bulldogs.
Stier gets us underway again. Wilson wins that one again without contest from Shaw. Wilson gets it forward, does nicely, the big man over to Bowles. It finally sits for him. Back inside, he looks to get it inside 50. Seebeck the target.
Seebeck!
Hands from Gus.
So 37 seconds into the third quarter, the premiership quarter. Can Gus Seebeck, the chairman of their club, kick his sixth for the day?
And what is it called, Phil? No, we won't mention it. Let's watch him kick this goal. Big Gus, he's kicked 5.
Crucial start.
Very strong mark. We alluded to Andre Peck going back. He's been tough to
20 seconds.
Tough to control already, and Bowles put a beautiful kick to him.
They all went to Vladko, but Bowles just showed composure.
So Seebeck.
He likes it. That's a bag for Big Gus.
And he's kicked his bag. 6 away for Seebeck, and the first for the Eagles in the third quarter.
Don't we love the clowns in the box with me? They just love trying to rub it in.
And the major sponsor, base course management, Steve Cooley of the Eagles, that's costing him money where he kicked 6. So they've got a little bet going, so he won't be a happy man. So still some nervous. So you see Roscoe Abercrombie there, the one more Eagles. That's where the chant come from. And I'll talk a bit more about that later on.
One down by Wilson, quick hand pass Beardsley. Collett just threw it on the boot. Bounces towards half forward, left behind by Pearson. Into the hands of Lavery, kicks inside forward 50, bouncing ball. Shaw Got a shove.
They can kick this, Woods.
Woods kicks on the left boot. The quick reply. That's a great kick by Ben Woods, and the Dogs still live.
Yeah, great goal from Woods. He's a very good kick, very skillful for a young fella, and very quick reply for the Bulldogs.
They need it. They're going to stay in this game. They probably need the next couple, get the margin back to 3 or 4 straight kicks.
Well, there's 6 goal kickers each, guys. The difference is the multiples. The Bulldogs don't have any, and it's Gus's extra 5 and Spiteri's extra 1 that is about the margin of 33 points.
So we've got the change in the ruck. Peck in up against Wilson. Peck wins it easily out in front against Beardsley. Oh, taken there a little bit high, but no, says the umpire Bradfield. On the back end of that, Jack Dimmery leads this race. Brought there by Heffernan. Kept his feet there. Underwood finds Heffernan again. Looks inside. Finds that man in Bradfield.
Real short, playing deep. Looks like Bowles is picking him up now.
Just holds play up there and tries to steady it, Bradfield. Goes to the far side of the ground and massive pack forms. Spiteri does well, shows a fair bit of pace and runs away with it. Has a target on the far side. It drops down at the front of the pack to Dimmery, front and centre. Nice work there from Physic. Just wouldn't sit up and get a run on that for East Coast. Been caught.
He did duck his head, but we've seen them pay about 2 or 3 of those already, so inconsistent there. And Michael Sankey in the play there, he's also retiring for the Eagles too, so he'll be very keen to get a grand final under his belt, a premiership win.
That's the ball. Stephen Peck run it down. Underwood tries to go through. Vlatko worries him out of it. Hand pass was smothered, however. Collett kicks towards half forward, bouncing ball into the pocket. Marr leads Rutland to the contest. Picks the footy up and sends it back from where it came. It's just over the head of Ward. Garner arrives. Ward was too clever on that occasion. Got it to Collett. His little kick not great. Pearson made the spoil and then Bowles just hacked it out of defence. And it bounces inside the line and over for a throw-in in front of the umpires.
You'd sense the Bulldogs have just figured out they need to do something now, otherwise the grand final is going to slip away, and their intensity is just lifted a little bit, I think.
Fantastic to see the group of umpires on the outer hill razzing their mate there as he threw the ball over his head. As we see the ball come back through the centre of the ground now, Coop has released Henderson. Plays on, Rogers closing him down quickly. The kick is terrific.
It's a fantastic pass there from Henderson.
Earl Shaw took the mark. Henderson knew he had plenty of time. He steadied, sized up the situation and put out a terrific kick.
Kicked 8 goals so far this season, didn't kick any last week.
Earl Shaw, stint in the sandful since he left the Sydney Swans rookie list.
Much needed goal.
It's an awkward-looking kicking style, but he knows how to get it done. Earl Shaw kicks the goal, and the Bulldogs are making a little bit of a rally. 2 in a row for the Dogs, cuts the margin to 27 points. And this is really the time now for the university team, isn't it?
It is, and if they kick the next one, it's under 4 goals, and it's game on again.
And that's when they just start looking over their shoulder a little bit, the Eagles, at what's coming. The Bulldogs, they know, and we know, they've got talent across the field. But can they put it together at the same time? Once they all lift and they play as a team, they've had some fantastic wins throughout their year, and that's why they're here on the final day.
Wilson, get down. Ryan got a shove. It's the free kick.
And apparently the Canteens run out of food at half-time.
So it's a healthy crowd and they're eating well. Ryan gave it off to Vlatko. The kick goes inside 50, but Luff is back there. Haven't seen a lot of him since the first term, Troy Luff.
Spent a lot of time on the bench in the second quarter.
Beardsley's handball misses the target, gave his opponents a chance. Over it went to Henderson. He brought it out wide to Woods. Chips it inboard. It's not going to make it to Underwood. He pulled up. Ryan to Rogers. Inboard.
Oh, no presence.
He went. Don't pay the 50.
Oh, poor decision.
Frank.
Poor decision. Unlucky there.
Now was only two decisions to be made. It was either just bring it back or you were caught with the ball.
The young Dean Ward, very unlucky.
That was not the decision.
Not a good decision. The Eagles will take the advantage from it. Ryan Fitton kicks the goal, and the margin goes back out past 6 majors, and that could be the straw that breaks the camel's back.
Oh, that is a crucial decision. The Bulldogs have got a little bit of a run on.
And there's a disappointing one.
Yeah, just what can you say? Yeah, I think it was one thing or the other, and it wasn't that decision that should have come. It was either just settle it, take it back, let him have his kick. Terry Mudge, shot of the eastern suburbs Bulldogs coaching box. Garner flies. Heck there. Handballs it straight to Vlatko. We've got Smythe in space. He plays on. Handball across to Biley. He's now got Spiteri. Someone needs to set it up, and it's up for Gus. Oh,
too big, too strong.
Pushes Peck out of the road. Gus Marks, 15 metres out from goal, directly in front.
I thought for a second they might have got a free kick. Gus looked a bit disappointed. Maybe he's a bit too tired. He can't kick anymore.
I tell you what, don't underestimate the smarts of Glenn Garner in that. He was caught out of the contest. Yeah. He was completely gone. He managed to put both legs straight up in the air.
Almost smothered it.
Yeah, just to ensure that the handball went off target.
Seebeck for number 7.
And he's done it. Big Gus, number 7, East Coast Eagles. It's their 14th.
Well, they look like they're on their way now, the East Coast Eagles. It's a 39-point ball game, the biggest margin of the game. And the Bulldogs will find it hard-pressed to get back from here.
Yeah, Neil Shaw's had to go back into the ruck. I didn't mind that decision. That's not where they're losing in. He was creating a few problems for matchups for the Eagles.
Peck won that first contest when he went in there, clearly over Wilson as well. So
see one of the most vocal supporters of the Eagles, Marie Gawley there, looking lovely as usual. Natural hair, of course.
One down by Wilson. Smythe somehow gets through the traffic across to Johnston. He can run to the 50. He's got shut down.
Too slow.
He was too slow. Ben Woods, great desperation. He hasn't given up the ghost. The kick to the wing.
Brad Ure did well.
Yeah, he did. It was a great effort. Ryan takes advantage.
Oh, downfield.
Downfield free kick against Underwood. And the free kick is going to be taken by Rogers just outside the 50. He looks like he's lining up for goal.
Yeah, this will test him.
Very close.
He can kick it, but it will test him.
I don't think
that's where I said he was kicking him from earlier.
Well, look at Gus on the goal line. He's not healthy either. He's copped a knock of some sort. He's still bent over as Rogers loads up. It's going to land in the square.
Oh!
He might not be healthy, but he can still take a big pack mark. And Gus will kick his 8th.
The big man is on fire.
You can't keep a big man down. And Gus Seebeck in the goal square will go back and line this one up. He's kicked 7 goals, 1. He wastes no time, comes in, and the East Coast Eagles might just about be there.
Well, there's still a long way to go in the game, Brendan. He's only 11 minutes into the third quarter, but the Eagles couldn't have wished for a better scoreboard start there. They got a lucky goal, and there we see a lot of Eagle supporters there. They're enjoying it.
Terry Mudge, not the man on a happy face at the moment. Starting to slip away from them.
A 45-point ball game. I said at the start, if Gus kicked 8, the Eagles would win. He's got 8. Let's see if the other part of the prophecy will come true.
Smythe there, he just battles with Shaw. Shaw finds the ground, bowls with the football again. He's looked long, Seebeck's that time! He's done it again!
He's unstoppable, big Gus.
He's just going to ask everyone to just take their time. He had a couple of options there. He's still got one.
The Eagles supporters are cock-a-hoop on the hill. Gus has got a very tough kick here for his 9th.
Not sure about Gus on the old check side.
Go the banana. Go the reverse banana, Gus.
Inside out top, we could do anything at the moment.
Kick it on the left, Gus.
So Seabeck looking for number 9.
He's got it.
He's kicked it. Number 9 for Seabeck.
Look at him go.
I think that's the happiest I've ever seen the big fella.
Maybe it's because he's thinking about retiring now. He's thinking, I don't have to do a pre-season.
Well, Big Gus has 9 goals, 1. Thank you very much.
The chant goes up on the hill, the East Coast faithful.
There they are there.
I'll tell you what, the players won't be stopping though. They've seen some heartache over the years, and they will not stop till that final siren.
There'll be a lot of players in that group on the hill there that had their own heartbreak a little while ago when they lost the Division 1 Grand Final by a big margin, but they're putting that behind them right now and they're cheering the Eagles seniors on in the Premier League. A 51-point ball game. Ryan busts out of the centre, gets the hand pass across. Here's an opportunity for Bowles. Gets around Luff easily, runs. Oh, and then he slips over. He's got to be gone. No, there was no tackle. Fair enough. Kalupis, hand pass off, unloaded there. The kick goes towards half forward. Luff will receive. Holds it up and then kicks inside 50. Rutland's the target. Couldn't quite get there. He got some height after the ball was gone too. Took the mark of the year last week. Smythe wants to move it quickly. Rogers right on the Eagles logo. Goes long towards half forward. Biley's the target. Knocked to ground by the Bulldogs defence. Henderson grabbed, possibly without it. Kafalis is a long way from home. Chips it over his head. It's all Eagles. And Dan Spiteri has the footy.
Spiteri back through the centre of the ground to Marr. Marr then has Pearson. They're all coming up the ground. Everyone wants a touch now. Bowles, far side of the ground, looking for some space. Seabeck calling it for the long. Just taking his time here, Bowles. Now he goes. Ugly kick. Doesn't quite make the man, which was Coop. They've now got a couple of players with a bit of space, but that is not the kick.
Well done, right, Fitton. It's one of those local boys. Great effort from the little man.
He has pitched that. It sat up before it hit Beasley.
He's had some horrible injuries in the last few years, Ryan Fitton.
Displays on. Here's Bilkey. The vice-captain has gone for the shot. Seabeck over the back. Can't get the big mitts to that one. Rogers, he's electric in front of goal. What can he do? He might have kicked it!
He's hit the woodwork, but fair dinkum. That was similar to Dimmery in the first quarter where he just couldn't quite thread the eye of the needle. So the Bulldogs...
Bulldogs are under siege at the moment. They just need to slow it down.
It's 52 points the margin. The East Coast Eagles in total command at the moment. Coop takes a great mark in the front spot. Gives the hand pass. Kalupis. Ex-Eagle. Kicks towards half forward. Strong grab by Underwood. Plays on quickly. Spearing ball towards Abbott. But getting in the road. That is O'Regan. He plays on. Runs into an open goal. And Rutland couldn't take the mark. Maybe got a push.
Just juggled it over the line there.
Neither paid, and it's through for a behind.
Stanford can run a mile here.
He's got an absolute paddock, Stanford. Takes the one bounce, he plays it to Seabeck in front. He takes 3, can't get the 4th. Johnston in amongst it. They're going to try and get it. O'Regan. Now, just trying to find a little bit of room there. Sutton in the centre of the ground for the Bulldogs. He just bangs it long. They need something. They need it fast. And there is a good mark from Lee Lavery.
He has to kick the goal.
He does have to kick it. And he's been very quiet today, Lee Lavery.
It was 17 minutes into the third quarter. 51 points the margin to the Eagles. They've kicked 5 goals this quarter to the Bulldogs 2. So Lavery looks to get one back, get the margin back to 45. See if they can start chipping away at this lead.
That's a good kick. That's a really good kick.
It's a very nice kick from Lee Lavery, and he gets his first for this grand final.
Yeah, much needed goal there from Lavery. It's probably an understatement you may be saying as you're listening out there.
He's their 8th goal scorer. 8 individual goal scorers now for the Bulldogs. They just can't find that multiple. The Eagles' defence has been fantastic. Whenever the ball has gone down there, they have managed to rebound on most occasions.
We saw in the semi-final against Western Suburbs, their defence worked as a great team unit, and they're doing it again today.
Umpire Anderson thumps it into the turf. One down by Shaw. Sutton goes through. Arched the back and got caught. Just got a kick away in time. O'Regan. Or was it Beardsley? It was. Lavery up to Kafalis. Little chip around the corner. This one's O'Regan. Couldn't take the mark. Ma did well. O'Regan wanted the chop of the arms. It's not coming. It's a boundary throw-in.
I've seen those paid more often than not, so maybe a little bit unlucky, O'Regan.
Smoke from the control. Burns is starting to float across Blacktown Olympic Park. Shaw won it down. Physic got it up to Vlatko. He chipped it out wide. Ma was spoiled by Rutland. Picked up for the Dogs. Kalupas into the pocket. Back it goes. Sutton, not 15. He got a kick on goal. It's across the face on Abbott. Launched into the woodwork and through for one behind to Ben Sutton. The margin is 44 points.
Wilkie goes long straight up the centre, but it's carried over fit and it comes back through Coop. In the hole, couldn't take the mark there, East Coast. It's popped up now with Kafalis. Kafalis, he jigs. He goes one way, finally gives it off to Shaw. Shaw just belts it forward and it sits up. Plenty of room there for Ma to bring it out of the back line. Puts it up in front, but they've turned it over. Just didn't sit up well for Sankey. They've got it in the 50 again. There's room here for Beardsley. He runs into an open goal.
And he's got it.
The Bulldogs get another one back.
And it's a 9th individual goal scorer for the Dogs. The Eagles have had 7 goal scorers. The difference, as I said, 9 kicked by Gus Seebeck. You don't need too many goal scorers if there's someone loading up like that. And it is getting very smoky here at Blacktown Olympic Park.
Actually start to smell the smoke inside here. Hope we're not on fire, boys.
Well, we're on fire, all right, but hopefully it's not that kind of fire.
So once again, if the Bulldogs can get the clearance and get a quick goal, you never know.
Shaw wins that one uncontested. Sutton through the centre. He's been their best all day for the Bulldogs. Just gets it to some open space. Ball's going to sit up here. Pearson just decides to give it a little bit and he'll have a boundary throw-in.
20 minutes gone into the third quarter. The East Coast Eagles lead the 2009 AFL Sydney Grand Final by 38 points.
Shaw and Wilson go at it again. Wilson there actually gets it on the second. Bottom of the pack there, I think, is the little fella in Ward. There it was. So we'll have another one again.
By Guestier puts it down. One by Shaw. Ryan to Vlatko. Little chip around the corner. Dimmery looked for the oncoming traffic. Wasn't there. Great tackle on Coop laid by Spiteri. Henderson wrapped up. The Eagles are ferocious in this contest, and this will result in a ball up.
Great effort there from the Eagles. They were ferocious, as you said, Brendan.
Spiteri. Beat him. A young fella like a dog with a bone.
Oh, that's silly.
It's silly, and it's soft, but it is silly, and it is there. And David Coop will get the free kick. And holds it up. And then kicks towards half forward. Off a standing jump. Peck couldn't take the mark. Vlatko left it behind and then thumped it out wide. Oh, good pick up by Physic. How do you do going on between Sutton and Vlatko behind the play? Keep an eye on that. The ball rolls over the line for a boundary throw-in.
And Sammy Rutland put Glenn Garner down. It's a bit of a mismatch there. He did well, the young fella. Sure the boys will be letting Glenn Garner know about that.
I think that might have been momentum. Certainly wasn't physics.
No, Ben was on the other.
I was waiting for it.
Big Ed Wilson done very well today. Earl Shaw absolutely dominated him when they were beaten during the season. And Ed Wilson has done a great job today.
Ball back into play, half forward for the East Coast Eagles.
There is again, good tap.
Wilson won it down. Here's a go for UR over the top. Smythe for an open goal.
There it is.
He's put it through. Ryan Smythe joins the party, and the Eagles get the steadier.
In his last game for the Eagles, he'd be pretty happy to get one on the board. Been a very good goal kicker over the years for the Eagles. Brad Ure, he's been very good today in and under.
It's a very good performance this is by the East Coast Eagles. The Dogs are still not going away. It's 5 goals to 4 in this quarter. 6 goals to 4 now, in fact. But 17 goals for 106, and we've only just ticked into time on of the third quarter. There's plenty of time left for a much bigger score.
Through the centre, the Eagles go again. It's Sutton and Vlatko. They've been battling all day. They've been there. 2 of the best on the ground, that's for sure.
Did well, Vlatko there, not to lose his footing.
And a great challenge between those two. Pecking the ruck, he gets up early and wins that one. Back of the pack is Vlatko.
Unlucky, Smythe left the field, his opponent went straight to him.
Effingham gets a bad bounce there, but he manages to make up for it. He's going to go to Coop, decides to come back.
Here's a man we've seen nothing of, Joel Robbie.
Here's Joel Robbie, who has not been able to get there in time. Floats over the boundary line. We'll have a free kick coming back to Biley.
Seabeck wants it,
Dimmery.
and why wouldn't he want it?
I think he's a bit too far away for Biley at the moment.
Biley just pegs it into the 50. Garner flies.
Oh, he almost pulled that down too.
Came very close over the back.
Sankey
looks for Seabeck, but it's Bradfield in front and he's going to play on. That's not
pressure.
the best of kicks. They need to get through this.
Brad
they
Ure.
haven't yet. Brad Ure looks for number 2.
Oh. Good pressure there from Benny Rogers to turn the ball over.
Thank you. That's good.
That would have been a big goal to get in time on of this third quarter. We're in the 25th minute. It's 107 to 62. A 45-point game in favour of East Coast. Henderson thumps it to the outer side. Seabeck wins a free kick. I don't think he can kick his 10th from there.
Well, you never know today. Maybe he'll go the torpedo. We don't see Big Gus go the torpedo. We were asking Big Chadwick to do it in the reserve grade in the Division 1 game.
Well, maybe he should have been more selfish. He's been overshone now by Gus. Inside 50 goes the chip. Sankey out to the pocket, Stanford.
Well, it's not a bad spot for Stanford, the left footer.
And he'll see the man on the mark about 37 metres out from goal.
He's kicked 16 goals for the year. I'm sure he'll be a very happy man. His brother's getting married tomorrow. Moved the wedding day from today to tomorrow so he can play today.
Where's it should?
Oh, exactly.
Stanford kicks from 45. He misses to the near side.
He needs to toughen up there, Stanford. That's a pretty ordinary miss from him.
They've kicked 17-6 now, 108 the East Coast Eagles. Union New South Wales Eastern Suburbs, they're 9-8-62. The margin is 46 points. We're 25 and a half into the third quarter.
Luff brings it back into play. He just loads up and kicks it as far as he can. Biley.
Should have been the mark, I thought.
Yeah, well, Vlatko agreed with you on the boundary line. Rutland brings the kick towards the wing. Mark was dropped by Underwood. Oh, great work by the cameraman.
Bit of frustration from Underwood.
Free kick against Underwood excused, but that was great work by our cameraman to get out of the road there before he got bowled over.
This is not a girl's game.
Well, there you go. Ryan Underwood says what he thinks. Meanwhile, Bowles kicks from 50 and misses.
Not a girls' game, that's true. Says Underwood, but yeah, that was certainly a very easy free kick to be given as Coop just coughs that one up, couldn't take the mark. Mrs. Shaw with a handball. The dish comes out the back. Stanford with another shot on goal.
He likes it. Great goal. Look at Stanford.
Stanford finally gets himself on the scoreboard.
It was a free kick.
And the hardest man in Sydney football finally gets a goal. He was good early in the game, Stanford. And finishing off his work
I think Underwood
Great goal.
still remonstrating in back play. I could hear the umpire.
It was a free kick, Ryan.
Yeah, you can't do that any time of the day.
We agree with Matt Guestier. So umpire Anderson with the ball. The haze builds in. It's another 7-goal quarter. The East Coast Eagles, they lead by 53 points. Beardsley fired it out. Quick kick inside 50. Left behind by Pearson. Kafalis should kick a goal, and he does. Peter Kafalis becomes the 10th individual goal scorer for the Bulldogs. And the margin just comes back inside the 50 again. And at 47 points, well, the East Coast Eagles would really be happy with where they're sitting right now.
We can see players, Brad Ewell sprinted off the ground and he was spent there, giving their all, and then they're coming for a rest.
Going straight up.
And the two number 1 ruckmen, they're back in the centre again. Wilson and Shaw. Shaw does well, dips it down to Beardsley, across the back to Kalupas. Ward the man here, but he's got a tough contest. He's got Smythe and he just shrugs him off. Smythe just decides to come back inside. Far side of the ground he has Bowles. Bowles with Luff. Luff just gets enough of that one before Bowles knocked it out of his hand, so it'll come back.
Very hard to see at the moment. Very smoky here.
Very smoky. Wherever that's drifting from isn't doing us any favours, that's for sure.
Mountains.
Heffernan goes inside 50 again for the Bulldogs.
Get Stu Benny too early.
There you go. And Fizzy went too early.
There was 3 Eagles onto 1 there, so didn't need to do that.
Lee Lavery with the football for the Bulldogs.
Almost 29 minutes gone in the third quarter. 47 points the difference.
Don't block their run.
7-4 to 5-2 in the quarter. Lavery with a shot on goal. He's pushed us across the front.
It's out on the full.
Abbott just tries
should
to
be
push
50.
that one. That should be 50.
Should be 50.
Mark's here.
Not a bad goal. If it was able to count.
Fair effort. But no, not paid. As umpire Guestier, it'll just come back to Pearson. Pearson will get the kick relating from the out of bounds on the full.
You're in now, play on.
He goes short and finds Bilkey.
To 7.
Looking for Skews. He has to thread the needle. He couldn't do so. Ryan, good pickup. Tumbles it around the wing.
Ryan Underwood needs to be very careful now. He's starting to do a few ordinary efforts, I would imagine.
Doesn't.
He wants to go to ball, Ryan Underwood.
He's a very frustrated fella at the moment.
They'll have a ball up, and the Eagles supporters have definitely seen what they believe.
I can see him getting red carded the way he's going, because he's just not playing the ball at all.
One down by Shaw. Beardsley wrapped up. Shaw tries to get through.
Hasn't stopped trying all day.
Underwood.
Oh, throw.
The umpire saw it.
Well, maybe it is a girls' game. He tried a bit of netball passing there, Ryan Underwood.
So ball with... No, now coming back to Dimmery.
Jack Dimmery with the free kick. Called to move it. Then he chips towards half forward. Ball knocked to ground and a high contact.
To the Bulldogs.
There it is.
It'll be Beardsley's free.
Frank, 50 minutes for abuse against Ryan Smythe.
50 for... So there's the call.
Bring it back. 50 against you, abuse. Ryan, that was against you for abuse.
It's been called by one of the other umpires.
Trying to figure out where that come from, because Smythe was nowhere near any umpire.
We heard the umpire down in the forward 50 for the Bulldogs make that decision.
Maybe you got the name wrong.
15, play on.
Heffernan,
I thought that was 15.
Ward to Collett, Kafalis, kicks into the man on the mark.
Well done, Physic.
And there's a push in the back against Ward. It's starting to get a little bit volatile without anything dirty going on just yet for neither team, but the umpires are trying to jump on everything right now. The siren sounds for three-quarter time, and you can almost rest assured that the East Coast Eagles are going to win their maiden Premier League title in the AFL Sydney competition. The Eagles lead by 53 points at three-quarter time, or would that be 47 points? 47 points the margin. East Coast Eagles 18 goals 7, 115, leading Uni New South Wales Eastern Suburbs 10-8, 68.
Well, the East Coast Eagles have been trying to win a grand final for a number of years now. They need one more quarter, and that's been their catch cry all day today. And that catch cry came. They've been able to do it since 2006, 2008. But Ross Abercrombie, who's here today from Port Macquarie, has been battling an illness, and the Eagles are here today to do it for him. One more for Roscoe they want.
And the chant goes up for the East Coast Eagles. They lead by 47 points. There's one quarter to go. Can they hold on? They should. Dan Johnston to tell us more.
Out of the centre comes Shaw. They've got Johnston over the back. He's just been able to find Sankey through the centre. Sankey just throws it on the boot, gets it forward. Luff's the only one there, takes an uncontested mark for the Bulldogs. Far side of the ground, he's got Beardsley. Beardsley just looks for a target. He's got one through the centre. That's a terrible kick. And it'll come back through the Eagles. And they've got a man here in Rogers. Rogers got some room to move. Gus calls it long. He tries to, or thinks about taking the man on. Seabeck will throw. He's got
Great
another.
Seabeck for number 10.
The big man.
Has it happened before? Has anyone kicked 10 goals in a Premier League grand final? That's the question. Gus will certainly join the club if there is a club. If there's not, he's about to start one.
The founding member could be. So Gus Seabeck.
He couldn't kick a goal for a few weeks towards the end of the season, but maybe he was putting them in the bag for today.
He's kicked 110 goals so far this season, 111, and this will be number 10 in the grand final.
He's missed it.
And I've revved him up and he's shot it to the right.
Well, the anticlimax again. Gus just had one more trick in store for us. He's kicked 9 goals, 2, and the 2 he's missed have been among the easiest.
That makes it an even 8 goals a difference, though, so they'll need 9 to win the Bulldogs.
Oh, poor kick in. Dimmery chops it off. Gives the hand pass to Rogers. Across to Garner. Glenn Garner!
Got it! The
Did he
drop
get
kick!
a boot on
It was a drop kick for a
He
goal!
did. Garner's kicked a goal! The Eagles are home!
Well, the coach, he's old-style football, and I think he's put through a drop kick there.
It's a wonder he even got a boot on it at all. Glenn Garner has kicked the sealer for the East Coast Eagles. They will win the 2009 AFL Sydney Premiership. It's been a long time coming. It's been 18 years for them in the Premier League competition. There's been heartbreak twice in the last 4 years. There won't be heartbreak today for the boys from their new home ground at Bruce Purser Reserve. Gus Seabeck has 9. The Eagles charging their way to the flag. If it was 1991, was it, Phil? They won the then Balcombe Hills Football Club won in the Division 1 competition.
Yes, but in the East Coast Eagles, under Dougie Scholes, that was too. Rest in peace, the great man.
We'll be looking down from above Doug Scholes today.
But the East Coast Eagles have never won a Premier Division flag, a senior premiership. It's been a long time coming, and been a lot of people knocking him over the years.
There's been just a few.
But I'm not sure what they'll be able to say now. They'll have to come up with something different or someone else to have a look at.
Finally broken the duck, or looking forward to breaking that duck.
Well, it's not over till the fat lady sings, but I think I can hear Rexy in Melbourne.
So Robbie there out in front. Bradfield with a little bit of Pele style just drops it up in front of O'Regan.
Not a to turn the lights on here.
Back to Beardsley. Coop, he's been a little bit fumbly in this second half. Can't take control of that one again. Garner puts pressure on. Kalupas tries to get it, and now they've cut it off. Here's the man that's got plenty of pace, Benny Rogers. He goes around Heffernan. He looks forward.
I think they were both holding each other.
Frank got in there. We thought it might have been going the other way, but it doesn't. Gus holding on to his opponent there in Peck. Football now back with Heffernan. Heffernan to Beardsley. He's not playing with any pace at the moment. Coop through the centre again. He decides to play on. He's got a good lead coming from Underwood. Underwood just penetrates it forward to Kafalis. Kafalis in front of Bilkey there. He's got a lead from Lavery. Doesn't use it. He goes long here, Kafalis. He's got a target in Abbots. Flies high. Bradfield's pinch one from behind.
Good goal, Bradfield.
Gets the 11th for the Bulldogs for the day.
And that is another individual. Bradfield, 11 individual goal scorers.
I think it's Ben Burke coming off for the blood rule. He's done a great job on the more experienced Abbott today. No,
Guess it might have been Abbott's knee, because he got pretty high on that one. The old fella can still fly. Yeah, got a bit of blood coming off the back of that one, that's for sure. It's a fair cut.
going straight in the rooms. Sports physio Norwest, Nathan Halliday going to look after him.
Beardsley back to Kalupas. Wilson gets a little kick away, gets tackled well in the process. Bowles in there. Here comes Johnny Vlatko.
Kick a goal, the skipper.
Went for goal.
Good off the boot.
Drifts across to the right.
Must be that smoke drifting it away.
Bit of a early summer haze.
So Andre Peck to bring the ball back into play. The margin is 48 points. He goes short and finds O'Regan. Called the play on now. Goes down towards the centre of the ground. Johnston got the ball to ground. Did he dive on it? Yes, he did. Umpire Frank knew. And it's against the Bulldogs. Sutton. Johnston with the free kick. He goes across the centre of the ground. Bowles couldn't take the mark. It's stolen off him by Coop. Kicks towards half forward. Kafalis is the target. Gets there in front of Smythe. Ducks and weaves. Then hooks it back towards full forward.
Oh, Bilkey!
Great mark by Rowan Bilkey. Plays on. Gets it out to Skews, who has done his job today terrifically well.
And Bilkey just apologising to Pearson there for hurting him in the big mark. He'll have to buy him a few beers tonight, I think. Johnston
to Vlatko. Across to Ryan, who's been a grand performer today after a slow start. Skews. Chips towards half forward. Fittens in a paddock. Decides not to go for a gallop. Sets it up for Gus. Can't take the mark. He's still going, Gus. Can he pick it up? He does now. Decides to go himself. Shot on goal. Not quite. He was willing it through, Gus. He couldn't quite get it there. He's now got 9-3.
Oh, he's missed 2 in a row, Seabeck. I think it's time to bring him to the bench.
Drag him, you reckon, Phil?
Oh, you dragged the bloke on 9 goals in a grand final, Phil. I'll let him know you said that.
You wouldn't expect anything else, I'd say.
Coop is caught. Picked up by O'Regan. He's caught high. You get the free kick.
Ed Wilson's come up second best out of that.
So,
not too good either.
Yes, he's a bit gentle there, the big fella.
he's put in a big effort, Ed Wilson, today. Eagles, plenty of winners.
He thought he had the free kick too, Wilson.
O'Regan. Kicks chopped off. Biley keeps on going. Kicks towards goal.
And it's there.
He's got it. Aaron Biley gets his second and goes on a gallop. And the East Coast Eagles are having a party at Blacktown Olympic Park today. It's their first trip to the brand new ground, and it's one that they will never forget. The East Coast Eagles breaking the drought, getting the monkey off the back without a doubt today. They lead by 56.
As you can see there, we're 8 minutes and 45 seconds into this last quarter. The 2009 Premier League final as Beardsley gets the touch out of the centre. He just goes long. Lee Lavery is the bottom of that one, but it misses the lot. Rolls through for a point. Ben Physic there, he's been hurt in that contest. Wilkie plays on quickly.
Might have hit the post down there, Physic. He's in la-la land too, Ben Physic at the moment. Meanwhile,
on the other side of the ground, bottom of the pack there, I think that might have been Bowles, not impressed. Sutton at the bottom of the pack. So there we go with Skews. Just misses Stanford with the handball. Back with Underwood. Underwood back to Wilson. Shaw goes forward.
yeah,
Physic is not well.
He needs to come off.
He needs to come off for the blood rule. He will now. The umpire tried to get him off at one stage. And that was an interesting one there. Good work by the emergency umpire. Ryan Fitton ran straight on from the bench. You wouldn't want a 19th man incident right now, Phil.
Wow, mate. Jeez. That would be, especially after Mr. The Count Ron Bilkey called one last time. Lee Lavery slots through his second goal.
Physic finally makes it to the bench. They actually restarted the play while Physic was still coming off, so they did have 19 on the field at that stage. But it was the umpire's fault that was the case. But
I think they can actually do that if the player's too slow to get off. I've seen it a couple of times. It doesn't make sense, but yeah.
as the replacement player was in position.
Yeah. Because I think if they wait for the opposition player to get off, they can slow down the clock. But interesting for the Eagles, one of their runners today, Kieran McRedmond, who played in their losing 2006 flag, and he'll get some sort of satisfaction out of being part of a premiership. He was shattered after losing that one.
Bowles was into the ruck there, but Underwood got the clearance. Bradfield in front of Smythe. Pearson behind as well. They just try to tow it forward.
Here.
Sutton. The kick will go to Sutton. Sutton's got Luff long. He decides to go towards the goal square to our man in Abbott, who's had a tough day. And everything's been missed there and out of bounds on the full.
He's been well beaten, Brad Abbott.
Ben Burke's done a great job in both finals on Matt Urell and Brad Abbott, second and third goal kickers in the competition.
And the discussion is whose free kick this is, and it's a Bulldogs free.
I thought that came off Abbott.
They did say it came off East Coast.
Meanwhile, Woods has kicked a behind. So the margin remains around that 8-goal mark that the Eagles built up fairly early on.
And Ed Wilson has come back looking like the mummy.
Yes, a little bit of work there on the chin. Had a little bit of claret coming off on the chin. Good shot there of Ed's work.
He loves it. The crowd
Pretty
love
happy
it.
about that. It'll look good in the photos.
You'd hope he'd rip that off before the photo.
You've got to leave that for the photos.
Yeah, just said it was in the first quarter when I got King hit and come back and played well.
Stories to tell.
Meanwhile, the ball is in the hands of Bowles, who decides to go a dangerous switch, and Underwood cuts it off. And it's out of bounds for a throw-in. Mark Maher tells Bowles that he should have went down the boundary on the other side.
I wasn't happy about that one.
Ball back into play, one down by the Dogs. Sutton tries to burrow through. Got some high contact, but he was burrowing.
Underwood still throwing his body around, but he seems to have settled down a little bit.
Garner's gone to him and is running with him.
So they bounce the ball deep forward for the Bulldogs. Picked up by Stanford, and he bounces away. It doesn't come back to him. Now he's under pressure. He's got Abbott corralling him, but he had time. Got it across to Fitton, running through him Pearson. Long ball down towards the wing. Biley's the target. Can he keep it in? He can't. And it's a boundary throw-in.
And the skipper John Blatko coming off the ground, and he's not happy either.
Does not want to be on the sideline, that's for sure. He wants to play the rest of this quarter out.
Well, I'm sure it'll be just a rest to get him back out there.
He's come off about this time in every quarter, so you're wondering what he's complaining about.
Still not impressed, though.
Well, I've never known too many players who like coming off the ground.
Ball towards half forward. Sankey turns his man around, runs to 50, hooks it back towards Seabeck. One out, he'll mark this.
There it is.
Ooh, is this the one?
Gus Seabeck has a chance. Mark Marr wants him to pass it. No.
You wouldn't even bother, would you? Why would you waste your breath? It's Peter Physic, long-time steward of the Eagles. Dave Elliott from the West Coast Eagles over here to watch the Eagles' sister club, East Coast. And that will be Gus Seabeck having a shot, not Pearson. I'm sure Pearson will be saying he kicked 9 by about 2 o'clock tonight.
Gus Seabeck for goal number 10. He's pushed it across the face. He doesn't want that 10th. It looks like he's trying to kick his ton again.
Yeah, maybe there's extra money involved and he's just choking from the sponsor. There is extra money I've heard for the sponsor, Steve Goy. So
say no more.
Kalupis to the wing. Stephen Peck.
Good mark, almost.
Yeah, I thought it was a mark. And now a free kick. Advantage paid. Robbie to Sutton. Sends it towards half forward. Charging out is Bilky. And away he goes, the vice-captain. Ball doesn't bounce back to him. He's
Can't bounce.
Oh, dear me.
The Bilkinator can run, but he can't bounce.
Luff with the turnover. Collared it, missed him. Ryan chips it over the top, turns it over to Sutton. Oh, it was exciting. It was exciting until he decided to put himself on the low-light reel, Ryan Bilky.
That'll be on the editing floor, I reckon.
It shouldn't be.
Straight up in the air goes Mark Marr, taken by Heffernan. Haven't seen a lot of him. He got dispossessed again by Ryan. Ball bounces out wide. Bowles, was it? Sankey, in fact, threw it on the boot. It's all Dogs. And Luffy takes the mark. 7th time unlucky for Troy Luff. You have to feel for him.
Dimmery.
Jack Dimmery gets in there. Blocks it, plays on. Hooks it back towards Seabeck. Caught behind this time. And it's taken by Andre Peck. He gave it off to Underwood. Out wide and finds Luff.
Luff just goes straight up the ground. Got a Heffernan there. Comes across to Ward. Sorry, that'd be Rutland. Rutland just gets a bit of a poor kick on the left. Bowles in front. Swooped on by Brad Ewer. Underwood getting in there involved again. Kalupis, he's almost caught. Good tackle from Bowles. Rutland amongst it. Heffernan again. They peg it out to Robbie. Rutland still on the ground, not looking the best. Sutton, once again, he's gotten plenty of it today. And there he is, the mummy, Ed Wilson. Oh, Pearson doesn't want to give the coach a touch there.
No, he doesn't need to get picked next week, does he?
Can pinch as many as he wants off Garner. Rogers will just get enough of it here.
He's had a good day, Ben Rogers. Struggled for form throughout the year, but spent some time in the Division 1 side and come back and played some good football in the finals.
Decides to go back to Coach Garner. Just taking a little bit of time here. 17.5 minutes in. Final quarter for the year. The 2009 Sydney AFL Premier Division Grand Final.
I don't reckon Ben Rogers kicked that over his mark then. As in, he went back that far. I don't think he kicked it past where he marked it.
I don't know if they should be doing this just quite this. They've got plenty on the scoreboard, but just a little bit of kick-to-kick here from the East Coast boys. Pearson gets involved.
Stat building, Dan. It always looks better on the piece of paper at the end of the day.
49 points the margin.
I think Pearson's in front of Stanford on the stats at the moment.
There's Vlatko, who's
Not today.
had a terrific game. Gives it off to Pearson. Chips across looking for Wilson. The mummy takes the mark and gives it over to Bilky. Out wide to Johnston. He runs down the wing, kicks inside forward 50. In the front spot, Andre Peck marks. Then pass straight off to Bradfield. Long ball and high towards half forward. O'Regan got to the front but couldn't take the mark. Physic back on the field. Got a hand pass away in time. Garner Gets it to Vlatko, who fumbles but has plenty of time. Look away, hand pass out in front of Fitton, who can run onto it, up to Burke. Took the man on and he lost, but there was no prior opportunity. And it'll be a ball up.
Almost 19 minutes gone in the final term.
So bottom of the pack there for Uni was Henderson. They've gone to the far side through Robbie. Robbie tries to spot up his teammate in Ward and does so. The 247s in Skews and Ward matched up on the far side. Lavery gets a mark just inside 50 on a tough angle in front of, I think that's Ben Physic back on the ground.
You're no happier man out there than Ben Physic. He's given his all for the club over the years. And he'll be very happy to finally have a medal around his neck.
Well, Lavery looking to become the first multiple goal scorer, and he won't. That's his second behind for the day. First behind.
First behind, he's already kicked 2 goals.
Got the 2.
So he already is the first multiple goal scorer for the Dogs.
The Bulldogs are a bit disappointed in their efforts today, but they've had a good year. One better than they did last year.
Something to build on for Uni, New South Wales Eastern Suburbs.
They've unearthed a lot of young players. They've still got some who are still under 18 playing.
And a very talented one who was the last player left out in Adam Gold, and he's got a big future. Played last week. Bilkey chips it short for Ryan. Well, it wasn't 15, it was 22.
Yeah, they go silly on that sometimes.
Bilkey has it back, gets around Woods.
Didn't bounce.
Goes to the wing.
No talk.
2 Eagles spoil each other. Comes back to Kalupis. He goes short. Finds the advantage of Underwood. It's better thought for Kalupis too. Played in the 2 losing grand finals for East Coast.
Yeah, I think if it wasn't the distance, he'd still be with the Eagles, and he'd be very happy for his teammates, but very disappointed.
Rogers, long kick towards the wing. All to ground level. Vlatko. Little chip towards half forward. Stanford turns inboard. Where's Gus? He goes in that direction. In fact, it was nowhere near that direction. And still a chance. And Andre Peck just taps it over the line for a rush behind.
So the Eagles winning this quarter by 1 point. They'll be
Turnover here. It's coming
Sankey.
back from Sankey. Missed to the near side.
He would have loved to have kicked a goal there. He's retiring today. Michael Sankey going out with the premiership.
Certainly party time for the East Coast Eagles.
And a lot of hard work for the Eagles over the years by a lot of people. A lot of volunteers over the years have worked hard to see the Eagles finally try and win a game. A lot of coaches have put in a lot of work to go back to the start of the Eagles. It was Jones, Seebeck, Baxter, Michael Knuppel, Ron Graham, who's with the Dogs now, and now Glenn Garner's going to get that chance to hold the cup up.
Now it's with O'Regan to Robbie. Kicked a goal last week from fullback Joel Robbie, and now he hasn't got one today. He's kicked it behind. And through it went the East Coast Eagles. The monkey, well, it's a massive turnaround, isn't it? Last year they managed to kick just 3 goals in the grand final against Pennant Hills. Today they've got 20 and there's still time for more. The kick goes down towards half forward. Ma swings around, chips inside forward 50. Seebeck couldn't quite take the mark. He's still going Gus. I think he's carrying that calf injury from the 3rd quarter. Short ball out towards the wing. It's coming back through Bowles. Chips it to Sankey. Goes into the pocket and Ma has it again. There are players getting back to try and stop Gus getting his 10th. Meanwhile, Spiteri will pick up a free kick for a Shepherd. No eyes on the ball from Andre Peck, according to umpire Gestier. And we have to say, guys, the umpires have done a very good job. There was that one decision that we queried in the 3rd quarter, but apart from that, we haven't really had cause to mention them all day. Gestier, Kalasic and Anderson.
Done a very fine job, the umpies. It's a tough job out there. All eyes on you. Not much time to make decisions. decisions, and they've been fantastic today.
And young Bruni kicks a goal for the Eagles. Icing on the cake.
Got 2 in the first quarter, 1 in the last, and it's a 9-goal ball game. 3 goals to Dan Spiteri and the East Coast Eagles. The celebrations are underway. The chant comes up on the hill.
You almost don't know what to say. It's been a long time coming for those Eagles supporters. For the players there, the reserve Division 1 boys who lost today, but they won't care. They all said last year when they won they'd give it up for a senior flag for their teammates. They're part of it. They did the hard work all year as well.
Get their monkey off the back, the East Coast Eagles, with the win today. Just a matter of time. We're 24 minutes into this last
Brad
quarter.
Ure, he's been brilliant today. Brad Ure.
It's in space, pegs it forward again. It's going to sit up here. Will Buckus get the bounce? No, he doesn't. It sits with Peck. He runs into Coop. Peck just goes in, gives a little bit of a bump to Smythe. They're going to get away with it here. Ben Woods with the football. He hasn't got a target here. A little bit of a push there. Kalukas 3-on-1. Wilson with the football. Nice little sharp pass through to Shane Ryan. Back to Ewer. Ewer just spins out of Kalukas' tackle and he runs on. He's got Gus over the back in a little bit of room. He's got a few to beat. He's ended up with the football. He's kicked his 10.
A big 10.
He gets it. Gus kicks 10. Icing on the cake for the East Coast Eagles.
Steve Gawley, time to pay up. Big Gus has got his 10.
And I tell you what, he just might have a Rod Podbury medal as well, guys.
He's had a pretty reasonable day, the big man.
Well, there we go. The East Coast Eagles lead by 10 goals. Gus Seebeck has kicked 10 goals. The difference between these two teams, the East Coast Eagles have had a beauty. 22-12 they've kicked to 12-12. They're heading towards 26 minutes gone. Sutton goes towards full forward. Stephen Peck marks in the goal square.
It's a great grab there from Stephen Peck.
A great effort. It looked like Ben Fizzick had it covered.
Just got back with the flight.
And Peck chips it over the top for a goal. The Bulldogs supporters still cheering their team.
No, that was the Eagles supporters cheering Aaron Biley.
As the Bulldogs cut the margin back to 54 points as well.
Eddie Rogers just waiting to come back on. Spiteri coming off the ground.
It will be the unlucky 4 on the bench when the siren goes.
Fitton, I think it might be the young fellas. I think the young boys might find their way onto the boundary. I've got a feeling maybe Johnston might be coming off for Rogers.
Although John Blacko's looking at the bench, I wouldn't be looking over there. I'd just be running the other side of the ground.
Absolutely, no, I can't get there.
Here's Bowles.
He'd do a hamstring.
Handball over the top to Ryan. Flicks it out, looking for Garner. He got dispossessed.
You know,
I think the bench should go and call Glenn Garner to come off.
Johnston's getting the call at the moment.
And just see how that goes down.
But he's gone the other direction.
Yeah, be like, no, there's no way I'm coming off now. Fitton and Rogers are lined up to come on, but no one's coming off.
Ball heads towards half forward. Kalukas takes a good mark, gets it across to Robbie. He kicks down towards full forward. Lavery couldn't take the mark. Vlatko gets back, turns around, chips over the top. This is Sankey, goes on.
No one wants to run this side. There it is! The Eagles are finally premiers!
The East Coast Eagles have silenced the critics. The critics that have been around for many, many years. They have finally done it. The crowd spills onto the field and the East Coast Eagles are champions of the AFL Sydney competition for 2009. They've won it by 9 goals. A brilliant performance by the boys in blue and gold. They got a home ground this year and now they've got a premiership. East Coast 22-12, 144. Or 22-13, 145 we have. Bulldogs 13 goals, 12-90. A comprehensive victory for the East Coast Eagles and they have got every reason to celebrate, Dan Johnston.
Absolute excitement out there. They're ecstatic, the Eagles supporters. and the team. You can see a shot there of Ben Physic. He's been with that club for his entire life, and he's doing a fantastic job out there. He's celebrating it big time. Unfortunately, on the other side of the field, the Bulldogs have been well beaten. You probably would have seen that they won their grand final last week by getting over the Western Suburbs side. They did it in tough conditions, and it was a tough day for them out there today. They fought hard, but East Coast, they just dominated today. They were fantastic all over the ground, all the way from their back line through to their 10 goals kicking full forward in the big man himself, Gus Seebeck. Fantastic performance to the Eagles.
Heartbreak for University of New South Wales Eastern Suburbs. The celebration's about to begin. Spare a thought for Troy Luff. 7 grand finals in his career. He's yet to get a flag. Spare a thought for Jason Kalupas. 2 losing grand finals with East Coast, and now he's lost one to the Eagles. Also, the Bulldogs coaching staff, Terry Mudge and Rowan Graham, who played their role as well in previous years, but today and this season is all about the East Coast Eagles as they win by 54 points, a confirmed final score, 22 goals 12, 144 to the Bulldogs, 13 goals 12, 90. The celebrations start now.
And they're about to sing nice and loud and hard. Seebeck in the middle leading them.
The big fella. I don't think he's ever jumped higher. Johnny Blacktown in amongst it. Smythe.
They certainly are the Eagles flying high. East Coast Eagles, a comprehensive victory today as we have a look at the quarter-by-quarter scores. The Eagles took control after a slow start. The Bulldogs kicked 2 of the first 3 goals, and then the Eagles started to get on top. 4 goals to 2 in the first quarter. They took a 12-point lead, and they really grabbed the game by the scruff of the throat in the second quarter. 7 goals they kicked to 3. Seebeck kicked 4 of those. He kicked another 4 of the 7 in the third quarter as they blew the margin out to 47 points, and then added his 10th right at the end as the Eagles won by 9 goals in this grand final at Blacktown Olympic Park. The celebrations are well and truly underway. The goal kickers for the East Coast Eagles, there he is on top, Gus Seebeck with 10 magnificent goals. 3 to Dan Spiteri, 2 to Aaron Biley, and singles to Ryan Fitton, Ben Rogers, Ben Physic, Blake Ewart, Glenn Garner, Ryan Smythe, and Luke Stanford. More individual goal scorers for the Dogs, but no one able to really take the game by the scruff of the throat on that side. Lee Lavery kicked 2. Singles to Stephen Peck, Mike Beardsley, Troy Luff, Earl Shaw, Marco Regan, Ryan Underwood, Brad Abbott, John Bradfield, Ben Woods, Peter Kafalis, and Adrian Heffernan. There are plenty of them there as we head down to ground level for the presentations of the Bill Hart Cup and the Rod Podbury Medal. The East Coast Eagles, 2009 champions. Here's Gary Birkinshaw.
In front of the presentation area, please. Right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll now get the presentation underway. The first presentation is for the best on ground in the grand final, which is called the Rod Podbury Medal. I'm sure anyone involved with Sydney AFL certainly knows Rod Podbury, multiple premiership winner, multiple Phelan medalist, so it's certainly an honour to win his medal. And today, the best on ground in the grand final goes to number 4 for East Coast Eagles, Gus Seebeck.
Delighted Gus Seebeck, embraced by the immediate past president, Peter Physic, the current president,
What
Gus.
can I say? First of all, to Uni of New South Wales, boys, congratulations on a fantastic year. I know there's not much really that anyone can say to change the way you're feeling now. Believe me, we all know what you're feeling. We were there last year and a couple of years ago, but congratulations on a wonderful season. I'm sure if you stick together, you won't be far away next year. So congratulations, well done. To our club, what can I say about this group of people? I've been here, this is my 9th season, and really, you know, you play footy because you love it, but really you play footy because you want to know what it feels like right now after you've won a flag. So I guess to everybody, I can't try and name names because there's so many of them. I would just like to thank my wonderful family though, to my wife Laura, my beautiful daughter Ella, my folks are here today for letting me take so much time out of our lives to dedicate to footy. And I hope that you feel what I'm feeling now because it's all worth it. So to our footy club, let's forget about yesterday. Let's forget about tomorrow. Let's just enjoy the moment right now. Yeah!
A delighted Gus Seebeck there, as you can see, the Rod Podbury medalist. A fantastic 10-goal performance.
Thanks very much, Gus. For those who weren't keeping count, Gus kicked 10 goals today, so well done, Gus. Before we move on with the other presentations, I'd just like to acknowledge the umpires today. The field umpires were Matt Gestia, Frank Kalasic and Damien Anderson. The boundary umpires were Luke McSpearin, Michael Saunders and Robert Taylor. The goal umpires Adam Gardner and Andrew Scavell, and the emergency umpire Sean Richardson. So I'd like to congratulate them to make the grand final in their field is certainly a fine effort, so well done. I'd now like to call on the captain of Union New South Wales Eastern Suburbs, David Coop, to come up and say a few words.
Firstly, just to East Coast, way too good for us today. You've been probably the benchmark, you know, in the comp this year. You've been the yardstick, so well-deserved victory, boys. Garns, you've got the boys going really well. Gus, just too big and strong for us today. Really good year, boys, and congratulations. Enjoy the victory. Cheers. To our boys, tough day today. They've really battled pretty hard the last couple of weeks. We were pretty much down and out a few weeks ago, and to get here today is a great effort. There's probably a few guys that won't be here next year, so we'll go out with a bit of a bang tonight. But great year, boys, and you know we'll be back next year. Thanks to all the supporters that came out today as well. Thanks, guys. Cheers. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Koopy. I'd now like to call on the captain of East Coast Eagles, John Blatko, to come up and say a few words.
How you going? Firstly, commiserations to you blokes. Very good side. We have a lot of respect for you. We knew it was going to be tough today, and you know, we take your hat off. You had a good season. Well done. To our brothers, to my brothers here, this is what it feels like, eh? I'm always shit house at speeches, so I'll just keep it short. Thank you to all the crowd for coming. You meant a lot to us, the boys on the hill. This is a club. This is a club premiership. It's not just us, it's you blokes as well. Thanks to Garns, awesome coach. And thank you to everyone. Cheers.
Thanks very much for that, Blats. Right, we're going to now move on to the presentation of the Premiership medallions. And joining us up here to do the presentations is the former president of East Coast Eagles, Peter Physick. So thanks very much, Peter. Right, we're going to start the presentation with number 29, Rowan Bilkey. Number 36, Ben Burke. Number 28, Damien Bowles. Number 11, Aaron Byerley. Number 18, Jack Dimmery. Number 26, Ryan Fitton. Number 45, Michael Johnston. Number 13, Mark Marr. Number 6, Christian Pearson. Number 17, Ben Physick. Number 23, Ben Rogers. Number 8 and number 74, Shane Ryan. Number 16, Michael Sankey. Number 4, Gus Seebeck. Number 47, Mark Stews. Number 2, Ryan Smythe. Number 20, Daniel Spiteri. Number 1, Luke Stanford. Number 14, Brad Ewer. Number 19, Ed Wilson. The coach, number 10, Glenn Garner. And the captain, number 9, John Blacko. And just before we present the trophy, I'll call the coach up, Glenn Garner, to say a few words.
First of all, to Uni, thanks very much. You really threw the challenge up, and I think about 5 weeks ago, it was a really good idea of where we needed to be, and we knew we'd have to really work to get over today. And to our guys, you did that, an outstanding group, outstanding footy club, and it's just a credit to the people around East Coast. If you work hard enough and you work long enough, the rewards will come. And today is not just for the players, because the players certainly deserve it. They're mindful of the work that goes in to get us out on the paddock. But to our footy club, well done. There's a lot of people who've been behind the scenes. That may not be there this year, but this is for everybody. Well done.
I'll just call Glenn and also John to come forward. And Peter will present the Bill Hart Trophy for the Premiership 2009.
Premiers and champions of the 2009 AFL Sydney competition. They're a happy bunch. The Bulldogs are shattered, as well they might be. They put up a brave...
Ladies and gentlemen, just put your hands together for Union New South Wales. They leave the ground.
So, the East Coast Eagles win it by 54 points, 22 goals 12, 154, beating University of New South Wales Eastern Suburbs, 13 goals 12, 90. And Dan Johnston, it's going to be a very big night back in the Northwest tonight.
Oh yes, I think it might be the Castle Hill Showgrounds. They might lift the roof out there tonight. That's been coming a while. There have been successfully run off the field a very professional club in the Sydney AFL competition, and it was just hopefully for them a matter of time before they filled the final piece, and that's that cup that they've now got their hands on. So extremely happy club, very well run off the field, and today fantastic on the field, and they've finally fulfilled what they've been trying to do for a number of years.
Yes, we'll just keep a bit of an eye on the celebrations as it starts getting underway, but that pretty much brings an end to what's been another fantastic season of football, Dan, right since back in April. There's been 3 standout teams. They made the last 3. One of them had to win. This year it was the East Coast Eagles. It's been a long time coming for them. And well, commiserations to the Bulldogs and the Magpies last week. They were the standout teams all year. But after a couple of goes, it's finally time to shine for John Blacktown, Glenn Garner and their boys.
It's worked well today. The catch cry has probably gone out more than once, but definitely today for one more Eagles.
And yes, Ross Abercrombie will be a very proud man. That's his catch cry. One more Eagles, one more. They got that one more today. They finally had the premiership, and bringing it to you today and throughout the course of the season, it's been very enjoyable as well. Plenty of people taking part in that. I'd like to issue a big thank you to everyone that played a role. To Craig Abercrombie and Rowan Bilkey, a premiership player now. They did a fantastic effort. Our cameraman, a terrific effort throughout the course of the year, bringing you the pictures, and the commentary team. John Keogh and Matt Hill weren't with us today, but Phil Bester, Dan Johnston, and we're all delighted with the production that we've been able to put up. I hope you've all enjoyed it. Anywhere around the world you've listened. I know that there was a big contingent listening down at the Wellington City Saints. And hello to you. I'm sure the celebrations are going on in New Zealand as we speak. A 54-point win for the East Coast Eagles. The celebrations are about to happen, but from Blacktown Olympic Park, a smoky Blacktown Olympic Park, as the sun decides to set. The party's just getting started. The monkey is off the back. The East Coast Eagles are premiers of the AFL Sydney competition for 2009. This is Brendan Rhodes for the rest of the Digital Sport team saying thank you very much for the season. Thanks also to Main Event for taking our games throughout New South Wales and Queensland. We will see you back here again